Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. Say go so, the remix.
DMB, Tuck Spice, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us in your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shortish. What's worth of a lady? It's nice, but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. But then it took a long fun eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt this sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes are killing time. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger. We look good together, take your place in my heart. With your beauty I must say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
It's just the way she smiles at me, just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing time. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. One beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look. Beautiful. I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace her with presents and gifts. Call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me Aston Kutcher, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing time. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, welcome back. How on a day? What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know in the chats. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. Let's cover some house rules real quickly. But please let me know first if you can hear me loud and clear. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. We have an interesting one today again. Shout out to you, Anthony. Anthony was here like 4:39. Joyful is waiting. I don't know what that means, but anyway, welcome, D Love. Hello. Hit that like button on your way in. Hit that like button. Already, I have Life with Natu here. She says, funny enough, I was recording a video on this today, but I had to go back to work. Oh, yeah. Wait, Life with Natu. That name looks like you're a content creator. You know what? I haven't paid attention to that. Please go and support her. Okay? Go and support her. Hey, Angela. Good to see you, Angela. Welcome back. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Yes? Can somebody tell me you can hear me loud and clear? I appreciate you. Thank you. Welcome. Who else? We have Gome here. Gome. Good to see you, Gome. Good to see you. All right. So do me a favor on your way in. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Share. We have an important topic to cover today. We're going to talk about finding yourself. And if we have time, I should keep saying if we have time, right? Because sometimes there's not enough time, right, to cover everything that I have prepared. If we have time, we'll talk about maturity versus age. That keeps coming up. Let's talk about maturity, right? What is maturity made up of? All right. We got to talk about that. And if we have time, we're going to talk about no divorce philosophy. It's a comment reaction. If we have time, we will talk about coffee dates. Okay. If we have time, we'll talk about the number one thing that makes relationships successful after collecting 40,000 samples. Okay. And then also, if we have time, we'll talk about the 5 places to meet your life partner. I have a lot to share. Well, that tells you we have a lot going into the library. So, but first of all, stay OR JAPA. Finding yourself. That's the main topic for the day. That's what we're going to talk about. Before we dive into that, again, let's finish off our house rules. Over here, Man of Prestige, we talk about relationships, we talk about power, we talk about seduction, we talk about attraction, we talk about emotional intelligence, we talk about patience and love. Okay? And then if we have time, we'll talk about marriage. If we have time. Because there's no need to talk about marriage if you figure everything else out, right? And by the way, I am an author, 4 times author. You can pick up all of my books for free. By going to that link, www.loveandprestige.com. And also, if you are more interested in Kindle, you want to order the actual paperback or the hardcover or the audio book on audible.com, you can access all of that And by the way, the audiobook you can access for free as well. If you're not a member of audible.com, I don't know what you're waiting for, but you can access all of that for free. Go to loveandprestige.com. Okay. Anyway, also, if you want to book a coaching session with my wife and myself personally, you have to go through that link. Okay. And FYI, that part of it is not free because I can't afford my own time for free. Okay. Just letting you know. All right. And if you're not yet a member of the Prestige family on WhatsApp, you can join so you can get notified personally by me. And again, on your way in, as you're coming in, thank you so much. The best way you can support this platform is make sure you become religious about hitting that like button. Okay. And if you want to help extra further, make sure you're sharing. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So welcome. Let's see who is here. Who is here? Who do we have in the house? We have Ola Olatunji. Welcome. Loud and clear. Thank you so much. Indy Tony is here. Welcome back. Yes. Princess Intube. Welcome. Hello. I think that's the first time I'm seeing that name. D-Love said, not sure if it's just me, but the chat box keeps getting blurred, so I can't make comments. I had to log off and back in. It's probably you. That's weird. But if anybody else is experiencing that, that's a YouTube issue. I would know where to find love. I need one. If we get to it. That's actually the last topic. I doubt it. But anyway, in the club. Welcome. Haven't experienced that. Okay. So that's probably a YouTube issue, maybe your browser or something like that. Okay. It's working now, hopefully. All right. Awesome. Welcome back. Blessed. Welcome. All right. And this lack of clicking like buttons is another form of witchcraft to me. That's funny. That's why they beg them. I beg, hit that like button. Wait till they wait for, right? Like, how will you be receiving this type of content and not support? Thank you, Life with Natu. I appreciate you. Princess says she watches every day, just not able to comment most time because I watch from my TV. I appreciate you. I can tell that quite a bit of people are watching from their TV. That's scary that I'm on your TV like that. But anyway, thank you for all your support. I appreciate you. All right. And she's followed from Auntie B, of course. Auntie B, the greatest that has ever done it, right? So welcome. So today let's talk. Let's hear together. As you can see, I have Yul Edochie and May Edochie on the. I have them on the thumbnail, right? I have this right here, right? I have them on the thumbnail. Why do I have this young couple? Can we still call them couple on the thumbnail? Because obviously, if you follow her on social media, you can see that find yourself in action. That find yourself thingy is, maybe it's just my perception. I'm not sure. But this is pretty typical when people come out of a situationship that's not exactly favorable. I've heard this over and over again. I need to find myself. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. Let me see. Chiye made it. She made it. Welcome, Chiye. I watch every show on playback most times. I understand, especially those of you that are in the Europe, in the eastern part of the world. I understand that. All right, but just if you come back and watch playback, just do me a favor. If you're on your computer, leave a comment, leave reviews, let people know. Sometimes, I've noticed that people that have negative things to say, they tend to beat us to the comment faster, right? It's very encouraging to see people getting value, leaving comments, what you love the most, right? And also, I love the feedback, even if it's negative. Like, we're going to cover one of them here today, okay? I love it because it allows us to take the conversation to another level entirely. Okay. Some people like the idea. Let's just get ahead and get started, right? All right. So some people are very quick to go towards the direction of we agree to disagree. I understand it. I'm okay with agreeing to disagree. Okay. But I've also noticed that people that tend to move in that direction more, they're usually not people that are open to learning more. For me personally, I don't move in that direction. I don't. Let me say it like this: I'm not inclined to be quick to go in the direction. Let's agree to disagree. While it sounds good, it sounds healthy. I think it's a healthy thing in real life. I'm paying more attention to when somebody is quick to go in that direction. When you don't say what they want to hear, they're very quick to like we're just going to agree to disagree. I understand it. I get it. But I don't. For me, instead of me saying let's agree to disagree, I am open. I am open to, if I have to pick one. Let's say if I have to pick one, you don't always have to pick one between the two. But if I have to pick one, I would rather go in the direction as this. You're probably going to teach me something new. Okay. I'd rather go in that direction. At least a perspective, right? That I'm not previewed to, right? At the very least, So it's kind of interesting that I see people like, instead of asking questions, like, what do you mean by that? I mean, okay, that's interesting, but this is how I see it, right? So not only are they quick to tell you, I disagree, they're also quick to tell you, I will have to agree to disagree, right? It's basically a way to shut down the conversation, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, pay attention to it if you tend to move in that direction. It's an idea of shutting down the conversation, right? We can end the conversation right now, 2 hours from now, a little bit less than 2 hours from now, hopefully, right? And you can still be open to learning more. You can pack it small, like maybe there's something to learn there, right? But again, once we have ideologies in our head, especially if it's been there for a long time and it's never been challenged, it's only natural again to just want to use different tactics and measures to shut down the conversation. Just something to pay attention to. But today I want to talk about finding yourself. What does finding yourself mean to you? I want us to engage together in this conversation, right? What does finding yourself mean to you? Right? That's number one question. Number two question, do you think that you have to find yourself before you go into relationships, romantic relationships in particular, right? And marriage. Do you think you have to? Do you advise people to do that? Right? Let me get some answers to that first. What does finding yourself mean to you as a person? To you, right? If you have to generalize it, feel free. Give me a generalized definition of finding yourself if you have to, right? I'm curious to know where your mind is about that, right? And then the second question is that, do you think you have to find yourself? Do you advise people? Would you advise people that are coming behind you to make sure they find themselves before they engage romantic relationships, and especially before they engage marriage? I'm coming to the chat right now. I want to see what you have to say about this. Hit that like button. Let me leave that on the screen. The algorithms is being evil right now. But it is what it is. Let's get to it. The show must go on, right? Let's see. Let's see. I'm watching. I want to see what's your take. What was your mindset about finding yourself? Natu, you said you were recording a video about that today earlier. I would like to hear your take on this finding yourself topic. And I've noticed personally that people have different meanings to it, right? So I'm curious to know what my audience here think about the idea of finding yourself. Does that sound negative to you? Gentlemen, if you're listening, is that a negative thing? Is that a positive thing? What's the first thought that comes to your mind when somebody says, I need to find myself? With respect to the idea of entering a romantic relationship. All right. Let's go. We have a lot today. Please, Cindy Tony says we have a lot today. To me, having a different opinion or stance is judging. No. No, it's not. We all judge one way or another by one stance. Oh, okay. In that, okay. Context matters, right? That okay. So you're shedding some more light on that. By our stance, but that doesn't make us wrong or right. It's an opinion. Yes, exactly. That's perfectly fine. What do you mean? Yeah, just be open to saying what do you mean first before you disagree with stuff, right? You know, and then your opinion can also be much more well-rounded. Because the person you're speaking to, you can at least understand where they're coming from, right? Yeah. Finding yourself, of course, so that you don't suffocate the other partner with neediness. I definitely push against neediness, right? And neediness is definitely a big deal. That actually poisons relationships too. Okay, so now you're saying finding yourself will prevent suffocating the other partner with neediness. Is that what you're saying, Angela? Okay. All right, and D-Love says yes. You have to be my own independent. You mean you have to be your own independent and emotionally, financially, spiritually stable before adding someone else into the mix. Okay. So is that finding yourself? Are you defining finding yourself as being independent, emotionally, financially, and spiritually? Spiritual stability is basically what you consider finding yourself, right? Okay. All right. People lost before. That's when I was having that conversation earlier on Clubhouse today. Was actually one of the things that like somebody kept saying in the chat, like, who lost? Right? Why you lost? Go say you should know yourself already. All right. Welcome, Isabel. Welcome. Chiye says finding yourself is basically self-discovery. I agree. Finding yourself, self-discovery is usually used interchangeably, right? They use them interchangeably, like as synonyms, right? Understanding my purpose in life, okay? Areas that I need work, okay? All right. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Okay, just making sure that I need work. Engaging with therapy to address those issues. Okay. Is that finding yourself to you? That's how you define finding yourself. Okay. Learning things that make me happy and how to become a better person. Okay. All right. That's finding yourself, right? Angela, all right. Can you leave Dami alone? All right. Anyway, Life with Naxus says, find yourself before marriage, yo. How will the other person make you happy if you don't know what makes you happy or what you want? All right. Okay. All right. You guys are helping me here. Okay. Blessed says, find yourself might mean knowing who you are, having an idea of what you want for yourself and your future. Also having an idea of your deal breakers. Okay. All right. And Chinye comes back to say self-discovery is an ongoing process. Okay. Because we continue to evolve as individuals. We are complex beings. Right? I like that. Chinye. I like that. Life with Nazis 100% agree. Worst thing that can happen to an individual is going into marriage or relationship without knowing yourself. Okay. It is intoxicating or long. All right. Let's see. It means focus on what you want out of your life. Okay. All right. So finding yourself means focus on what you want out of life. That's interesting. The things it was blood. Okay, is that a she or he? Let's forget about Dami. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. Okay. I have realized that you can't really find yourself alone, Sha. I'm just gonna leave that right there for now. Okay. You will start to know who you are when you're with someone. They will test you. All right, let's keep going. All right. Become aware of being. Well, I became aware of being at 5 years old. I remember literally everything since 5 years old. Hit that like button. If you just came in, shout out to you for coming in. I appreciate you. I need you to hit that like button right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Become aware of being. So are you saying that at the age of 5, I kind of knew myself? Is that what you're saying? Just J, shout out to Just J. How are you? Let's see. I also got that exact energy. Okay, we're talking. Can you let go of Dami? Yay, Jola Kemi is in the house. Jola soon. Yes, she is. Yes, ma'am. However, it's an ongoing process. We have to have some type of a footing before entering marriage. Somebody earlier taught me when I was having that conversation on Clubhouse. Somebody taught me that there's some base levels, required base level of certain things you should know about yourself. And I said, that's an interesting way. Before that, honestly, I have some interesting take on finding yourself. But we'll get to it. I have some interesting perspective on it. But again, I wanted to make sure I know where you guys are before we'll continue. Okay. All right. Stop shaming Dami. My wife's name is Dami. Okay. All right. Let's let it go. Let Dami go. All right. It's finding your identity as a person. Most especially women, they lose themselves, who they are once in marriage. It's a great problem that leads to deeper issues. Wow. Okay. All right. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. There's a key word in this that's just powerful. Okay. Before I came live, I went upstairs to go get some lunch. And I said, hey, I was talking to my wife. I said, babe, I'm talking about finding yourself today. Why? Any topic I bring here is because I've had experience with it in the past, okay? And they're usually negative experience, okay? So just so you know. And I said, that finding yourself thing, right? It just seems like women just have meeting. And they met somewhere and they say, hey, once we are ready to pull plug on the marriage, this is one of the excuses we're going to use. That's what it seems like. I got to be honest with you. That's what, when you find yourself in a confusing place in marriage and you start to research on Google and you're asking questions, one of the most popular talking points you're going to see everywhere is finding yourself. Like, find yourself, BT Power. What? Like, find yourself, BT. These people, man. Let's talk about it, ladies. Ladies, let's talk about it. Gentlemen, listen attentively. Okay? Pay attention. The first word that came out of her mouth, I kid you not, identity, she said. I was like, Jesus Christ. So Angela now is confirming that notion again. Identity. But it's true. I agree with every word in this statement. This is what we are talking about. Right? This is actually what the topic is about. If you look at the thumbnails again, it should make sense already to you that this is Odogu. This is what we're talking about today, okay? Finding yourself, most especially women. In fact, there was a young lady that was arguing it. One of the gentlemen was like, you know what? Generally, men don't go into that, be asking to find themselves. It's women that use this language. Am I wrong? Okay. But let me give you a kickback. Let me push back at myself a little bit with what I just said. And I'll explain it to you in a second.
Stop the cap.
Yes. Let me stop the cap. The conversation actually started because a gentleman wanted to share his experience. And what happened to him, okay? What happened to him was that he's in his second marriage now. He was married the first marriage for 2 years. The second marriage has been 4 years, and he's basically saying, you know what? I just suggest that everyone make sure they find themselves before they go into marriage. I discovered that I didn't really know myself. How did he know? Because he landed a dirty slap on his wife. And at that point, he was like, you know what? Whatever is going to take me out of character, this is not healthy. We're not compatible. Eventually, he left. He also told us another story of how they dated for 4 years first. Because one guy kept saying it's because maybe you didn't vet very well. How long was your courtship? She was like, well, actually, we were together for 4 years before we got married. Right? We're together for 4 years before we got married. And but when we were getting married, it seems like I didn't want to dump another girl, and everybody would say, hey, you use her for 4 years, right? And then you want to move forward and move on with your life. So he felt he engaged in that marriage out of guilt. Okay. What is number 6 on this list? Guilt. Guilt is not a good emotion when it comes to marriage. Okay. So that was actually a man who said you need to find yourself. But what I found funny in his story, before I continue, I'll go back to the story in a second. Before I continue, right? Gomex, welcome. I see you. So again, let me identity. Women tend to lose their identity in marriage. Modern women in particular. Okay? They tend to lose their identity. At least that's how they express it. There are deeper issues, obviously, that makes them express it that way. And I want you to teach me more, okay? Most especially women, they lose themselves. What does losing yourself mean? You are a married woman. This is how a man thinks, okay? Just think about this for a second. This is how a man is processing, like, you lost yourself. What do you mean? I married you. You're my... I married you. What you don't do leg work. What are you talking about? A typical man, because he doesn't even see it coming. It's like, I just bought you a Range Rover yesterday. Shout out to Auntie B. Right? What are you talking about that you lost yourself? Right? Kilo mean that you lost yourself. Right? But it's real. It's real, right? When they are once in a marriage, why? See, this idea of selfless. When you don't understand that the idea of selfless is a parallel from self-love. When you don't understand that, those are two lines that never meet. They're two different topics, two different contexts, two different conversations entirely. Okay? If you say, I want to practice self-love, and somebody is pushing back against you and say, no, in a marriage, you're supposed to be selfless. Right? This is what it causes, right? It's a feeling, but it's an extremely valid feeling that must be addressed. The longer you wait before you address it, the worse it gets. Okay? But let's continue to unpack it, because I think there's more to this. The statement you made on ongoing process is yes. Because a sense of your identity, men do lose their sense of identity in marriage. They just don't word it exactly like that. When they start losing their sense of identity, they start asking for respect. They start asking for submission. They start asking for femininity, right? It's basically an indication that a man has lost himself too, right? In fact, sometimes you ladies will want to tell him, okay, you call your friend, go and hang out. Jesus Christ. Remember we talked about neediness, the needy behavior thing. Neediness, no be your mate. He doesn't, of course, he doesn't realize that's what he's doing, right? He's like, but we're married. Why should you want to spend time apart from me? You said girls trip, like what trip? Get what trip? It's like, why would you need girls trip? Say the why me. He doesn't necessarily realize that he's probably lost himself. I always tell people, when a person asks you that they need space, there's an extremely good chance that you need the space more than they do. But you're obsessed. And it gets worse when you're rejected. Because rejection breeds obsession, right? The more somebody rejects you, the more you want to pull them to yourself. The more you pull them to yourself, the more they want to run away from you. It just gets really, really, really messy. So if a woman says that she wants to find herself, right? People say, that's why you must make sure you find yourself before marriage. No. That's a frame of reference. The reason why she needs to find herself is because she lost herself in the middle of marriage. She lost herself in the middle of a toxic, quote unquote, toxic relationship. No, you don't get to define what's toxic for her. She gets to define what feels toxic to herself. And if you want to help her keep defining it, you go collect. It's only a matter of time, because you don't want a person who feels like they've lost themselves. You don't want to be in a romantic relationship with them. You will end up blue balls if you're a man, right? And woman, you will end up pushing him away. It's only a matter of time. Because again, the idea of people getting smothered to death is real in relationships. It's real. Let's keep going. I remember as early as 3 to 4 years old, right? That's the self-aware part, right? Like I know myself. No, that's a completely different context, right? We're having a conversation about romantic relationships right now. Why should you need to find yourself when we need to be building a community? Different conversation. You need to go and join the Red Pill community and have that conversation over there. Over here, we're talking about how to nurture successful, healthy relationships. Right? It's not about community, it's about you. It's about making sure you're healthy enough to be able to add value to the community, starting with your own family. Right? That's what we're talking about. Okay? Which is the footing I was talking about. Yes, that baseline, right? Thank you. Yep. I'm about to leave. Okay. Agree. You continue to discover yourself. It's continuous. This is why, again, when people say I need to find myself before I enter marriage, this is what creates the pushback in me. I'm like, you don't know yourself until you are put within certain level of pressure, okay? Until you are being tested, right? You don't even know that you don't know yourself. All along, you felt like, hey, I'm aware of myself since 5 years old, since I was 34 years. I remember that's all you're thinking, right? But when you are placed in the middle of the pressure that comes with the attempt to do life with another person, you know, they would the person that love you the most, they will test you, right? Not intentionally, okay? Because then you start to think they're just being evil or they're being narcissistic. Usually not intentionally. Just the idea of two people with two different ideologies, two different way of thinking, experience. You are seeing the same thing, but you're having two different experiences, right? And you're like, what is wrong with this? Like, that's not a big deal. And they were like, well, it's a big deal to me. And you're now confused. All of that would test everything you believe in. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Okay. Very, very important to talk about finding yourself in a better rounded way. You can't afford to turn finding yourself into a talking point. For everyone, it means something different. But for all of us, think of it as identity. You don't realize that you may be losing your identity until you are in a position of test, right? You don't, because like there's no frame of reference. There's no white, so you don't know what black looks like, right? There's no pain, so you don't like. So when you see pleasure, you're like, oh yeah, like that's my right, right? But when you see pain, when you see pleasure, suddenly you're like, I'm privileged. This is a blessing. Like you have a frame of reference. Do you understand? Right? So the idea that you're going to find yourself before marriage, I need you to tell me, what do you mean by that? You can't have the same level of finding yourself that May Edochie needs. You can't be trying to exercise that when you've never been in a romantic relationship before. You don't know what you don't know. And you can't run around town advising people to find themselves before they enter marriage if you went into marriage first before you discovered that you lost your identity. Could make sense. They don't align. Do you understand what I'm saying? You were in a marriage, and that's what made you realize that you lost yourself, you lost your identity. So that's a completely different conversation. That's why you're able to comprehend the idea of finding yourself. So even when you're telling a person that has never engaged romantic relationship before, when you're telling them to find themselves before marriage, they will internalize it as another talking point, as some stupid religion that really doesn't help them, right? Because they can't really comprehend what you're talking about. You can even try to explain it to them. They don't know what they don't know. What they're going to turn it to is waiting around for a perfect human being. Does that make sense? They're going to turn it to waiting for a perfect human being. They're going to turn it to unrealistic expectations. Does that make sense? Are we cooking? Life happens quick and fast, or it affects people. Toothless Odogu. There are women that want to be more than a womb, and there are men that want to be more than a wallet. I think anyone can relate. I think most of us want to be more than those things. That's what makes us human, right? We're not animals. I hope you want to be more than those things. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I don't know what will make me a full-time housewife when I'm not sick. Wait, what conversation are we having, ladies and gentlemen? It's because most men tend to be very more sure of themselves as the head. That's a big part of it, right? Because it's compulsory if any head of anything. They mostly set the pace in marriages, hence why identity is not an issue. It's almost like the marriage is actually their identity. So if the marriage is still existing, so there's no, to a typical man, not all men, to a typical man, there's no, it's not like, what do you mean I went into marriage to lose myself? You know what I mean? This is my life. Everything is my life, my wife, my children, this is what makes me feel like human being, right? But to a woman, especially if you're engaged with a person who have controlling behaviors, and a person who is not engaged at an emotional level that's healthy for you, yes, it makes sense that you might start to feel like you don't have a say on your own life. It's just something to, if you're having this issue, it's something that you need to unpack at a personal level, because it depends on people to people. It might just be you that you have unrealistic expectations, but sometimes you need a certain type of person to explain that to you, to break that down and say, you know what, this is why. Okay, why don't you take a trip? Why don't you go on a spa? Why don't you, right? Man, you like go on a spa, to go and lie down somewhere on a spa for 2 hours just for somebody to be rubbing on my neck. Like, yeah. Self-care is something that's very difficult for a lot of men, because it's like, what do you mean self-care? I'm good. But women would need that. They need a little breathing space. Can you keep the children away from? I love my children, but Jesus, like, right? We're different. So If you're not in if you're coming out of a situation that's not favorable, a relationship, a marriage, it makes sense for me already when you say, I don't know, I lost my identity, I need to find myself. That makes all kind of sense, right? But it doesn't make sense when you turn around and you try to save the world. I keep telling you, stop trying to save the world if you haven't done the work on yourself. He said, make sure you find yourself before you enter marriage. It is very important. Be careful when you're advising people like that, because who you are speaking to, you don't understand their story. What did I do before I started this conversation? I said, tell me what does it mean to you? Why are you preaching find yourself to a person that's not complaining about anything that's relevant to that? What are you preaching to exactly? Oh, by the way, if they can relate with you in one little aspect, then they will turn that to, oh, I know nothing was wrong with it. It's not that something was wrong with them. It's just that they're on a different journey altogether. Are you patient enough to hear where people are before you start to advise them? Just look around you. Look at all the people advising people when it comes to relationship. Are they patient enough to hear where people are before they start to advise them? Or everyone is projecting talking points on people. Now, what is the result of all these talking points? Just look around you, right? People are still not happy. People are depressed. People are dealing with a lot mentally, right? They still don't feel heard. They still don't feel fulfilled because the solutions that's been presented to them is not relevant to their situation. So if we're talking to single people in general, if we're saying find yourself, if we're talking about make sure you're a sustainable adult, make sure you understand yourself, maybe you make sure, if that's what we're talking about, sure. But with respect to what Chinye said earlier, until you buy, you will continue to find yourself. You will continue to have moments in life where you have to pivot, recourse, back on purpose. You lost your sense of the identity, you lost your direction a little bit, but it's time to, this is an ongoing thing. This is not something you put life on hold for. Does that make sense? You don't put life on hold to find yourself. Okay? Living life should be all inclusive with finding yourself. You're always pivoting. You're always adjusting as you're moving. You're always course correcting. You're always course correcting. Does that make sense? How are we doing? How are we doing so far? The idea that you will have everything in order in place before getting married, it sounds insane. No. That's pretty much what a lot of people sound like when they say find yourself before marriage. But I don't like to assume that. I just say, what do you mean? And lo and behold, they confirm it. Make sure you have everything aligned. Like, yeah, it's unrealistic. So when people have unrealistic expectation on their partner, it's because usually they've been practicing it with self. You have unrealistic expectation of yourself. Usually. Some people might even interpret find yourself for you get married differently and wrongly. Yes, some people interpret find yourself as leaving their marriage. Sometimes it can mean you have to leave the marriage. Not all the time. Right? Not all the time. It's something that you, again, at individual level, you have to assess it and say, I feel like I've lost a sense of my identity. Right? But a sense of your identity is also involved in how you're able to socialize with other people, how you're able to emotionally connect with other people. There's no such thing as your identity without these two things, meaning your connection with other people. So some people say, I just want to stay single so I can find myself. Like, if you're coming out of a relationship, I agree 100% you need that. Because sometimes, again, like I said, you've lost yourself and you need to course correct. But if that's not the case, I think finding yourself means you need to get into the game and play. You need to learn how to play the game. You have to get in the game and play. And separate that from the idea, maybe we talked about this yesterday. You might just be speaking out of fear. You're not finding yourself. You're afraid that somebody might break you. Is that possible? Yes. Yes. But I understand. I get it. Okay, that's why if you're coming out of a situation, take your time. One of the messages the young man was actually trying to project, which I agree with, is that if you come out of a marriage, take your time to heal, aka find yourself. If find yourself means healing, I agree 100% with it. But if you don't know what you are healing, this is just a bunch of talking points. Everybody's talking about marriage is just a terrible thing. Everybody's fighting. So today I pushed back about against one of my friends. He said in marriage you should expect that you have heated discussions from time to time. I was like, no, I don't expect that you will have heated discussions from time to time. No, that's terrible. Once in a while, yeah, people can get into argument, but to just have expectation that it's normalize heated discussion from time to time. Like, no, right? Now, when he was saying it on the surface, it sounded like, oh, I guess that's just realistic expectations, right? But no, that's not real. Okay, at least one of those people is going to have a problem with that. They will build resentments and eventually pull the plug. People say things that make no. Find yourself is a long life journey. Yeah, we have to. That's the more realistic expectations of the idea of finding yourself. I agree with find yourself. I just think that people have turned it to a talking point. You have to be careful. Okay. You have to be very, very careful. Let's see. Some people are okay with being what they are told. At least have a sense of identity to a certain level. Yes, agreed, 100%. And understand that your identity is something you have to continue to maintain. The only thing that's constant in life is change. If you understand that, then you won't hold yourself to unnecessary fire about being the same person. And then also that help you adjust and manage your expectations from the other person, right? Considering this is what he chose to talk about on this, I'm going backwards, so I may be missing some context. Still finding ourselves. No, I have. This is what. Listen, Indie Tony, you know how this goes. I gotta make sure that we're not just another platform regurgitating talking points just to sound cute. I want to make sure that I address as much as I can. All right, clingy, needy behavior, right? Clingy, needy behavior, identity. Those are really cool things. So let me say before I say that. Let me see. Life with Natu says, I asked my 30-year-old cousin the other day, what makes you happy? What do you love doing? Auntie said she does not know. Right? So when someone like this get married tomorrow, will take rubbish in the name of marriage. Yes, they might, but that could just be their journey. Right? And the point I'm making is that it's almost like there's no way to avoid having some experience in order to truly, truly find yourself. I'm almost saying this. I think I want to say it. Right? I'm about to say it. Let me say it. Okay? Without any experience, there's no such thing as finding yourself. It's just not possible. Okay? You need to be in the game. You need to play the game first. You can have some base level stuff. Somebody talked about, how your parents raised you, the premarital counseling, weeks upon weeks of marriage seminars. You can have some that can help. It can be helpful. But in the true sense of it, finding yourself, you won't know yourself until you've gone through some type of experience. The thing is that the experience doesn't have to be negative, like absolute extreme negativity. No, it doesn't have to be. But you just can't comprehend what you don't know, man. You can't. Even if I tell you in words, I'll give you some base level stuff. I tell you, listen, God, purpose, self. God, purpose, self. GPS. God, gratitude, purpose, self. Self. God, purpose, self. Friendship. Kiriwa, sex. Okay? Manage your expectations. Okay. All right. Pride. Watch out for pride. Pride is not something I expect you to admit to. It's something that will show up when you start to say, the way I was raised. We don't do such things. You're just expressing yourself. You don't really realize that with respect to the other person is pride. Don't they enter small, right? I can give you some core basic principles. We'll continue to cover that here, right? But you will still be tested. And that's when you will truly know who you are. Then you will now start to feel like, wait, who am I? See, when that question pops up in your mind, either in the form of exactly like this or you're confused. Like being confused is like, who am I? Right? That's when we can now say, I need to find my identity. I got lost in the sauce. I need to back off. Why do I keep saying backing off? Back off. Back off. Agbotofa saying agbára ló lọ mú wá. Back off. Small. So you can see your nose. Calm down. All right? When somebody tests your temperament level, if your temperament level has never been tested before, within a romantic setting, you don't know yourself. Not only that, you're not capable of finding yourself. You want me to read textbook to you to find yourself? You know, I don't know. So it sounds like, Ola, you're saying there's no solution. No, I'm saying the only solution is to continue to manage your expectations. That's the only solution. Okay? A friend of mine who knew herself, so to speak, that means quote unquote, right? Before going into an abusive marriage, completely lost herself. Right now, she don't even know what she likes anymore. Yeah, it's confusing. It's going to take time, patience, a process, prayer. It's going to take those things. Back off, right? Humility, right? It's going to take, healing. Does that mean you should just rush into anything? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you are trying to tell people not to rush into anything, there's no need to use crazy talking points. Everybody in life understands that if you rush into anything, you will rush out of it. That's common sense knowledge, right? But there's also, we're in a space that there's so many negative rhetorics about long-term relationships that people are just afraid. People have fear. Men have so much fear. You can hear it in their talking points. That's when you have to ask them who hurt you. You can hear it. Like they're just afraid. They think somebody is going to come and steal all $2,000 that's in their bank account. Right? So they're afraid. And guess what? They're still doing Kerewa. So when they enter Kerewa and they do Kerewa with person, they don't know how to maintain it. A lot of them are fine boys that can attract women, but they don't know how to maintain it because they want to be black and white. Like, I don't do those gray areas, right? Shout out to Uti, right? There's no room to just lay, hey, you're a man. Why do you need so much validation? Jesus Christ. We all need validation, but drink water. You like her, you go for her. You don't like her, you let her go. Simple, shikina, right? But no, what do you bring to the table? Tell me what you bring to the... Are you feminine or masculine? Voila. Voila.
Oh my days.
Experience is developing knowledge and wisdom. Yes, facts. Facts. Yes, to have a clearer picture, you need experience. You need experience. The closest thing to experience is mentorship. The kind of stuff we cover here, unpacking layer by layer, layer by layer. Staying away from that right and wrong nonsense. We know what is right and wrong. We all do. If I chose to do something that's wrong, it's not you that... Listen, you're not paying me a paycheck on Friday. You can't tell me to do what's right if I don't want to do what's right. Okay? And if you can take me to jail for doing what is wrong, you can take me to jail for what, if you can. But I'm guessing you can't. Right? So there's more to this. But guess what you still want to do? You still want some bola, right? Oh. All right, my bad. Let me come back. Right? Psychological repercussions because of abuse. Yeah. I'm telling you, everyone is afraid. Everyone is afraid of somebody trying to steal something from them. So they move exactly like that. But anyway, that's all I have about finding yourself. Be careful when you say find yourself. You want to teach somebody find yourself, make sure you understand where they are in life and help them understand what that means for where they are in life. Find yourself. Make sure you stay in school. Make sure you're self-sustainable. Make sure you're able to take care of yourself. Make sure some people have a serious pushback against. Make sure you can take care of yourself before you go into marriage. I don't have a pushback against that. So I think a woman should be able to take care of herself. I think a man should be able to take care of himself and a couple of other people. That's what I said. Okay? Because why not? But why are you teaching that that's not traditional? Shut your trap up. My grandmother, okay, was always in the market, every 5 days, every 4 days, it should be something like 4 or 5 days, right? And not only that, she goes to another village, to another market, and then she goes to, and she's there from morning. They go at 5 in the morning till 6 in the evening on those market days. And when I go see her in that market, she used to sell gari. Right? When I go see her in that market, when she's in the actual village, our own village, when I go see her, guess who are the most of the people in that same market? Women trying to sell. What kind of stupid talking points do we have on the internet where people say, well, women never used to? Since when? Women have always worked. Okay, they may not have big farms, but in terms of going to the market, a little trade here and they're helping their husband, they've always been involved. It sounds sweet in your mouth, I guess. Have you ever been to a village before you start running your mouth on the internet? Right? Oh, it's traditional. In those, shut your trap up. Right? This has nothing to do with nothing. What it has to do is that we're modern people and we have to understand how the modern times work. Because you still want to do career. You still want to have sex. You still want to have children. You still want to build a family. Every single one of you. Then you have to learn how it will work in this time and age. Okay? Do you have to learn everything? No. Just active listening. Start with active listening. You don't have to have all the answers. Active listening. You don't have to have all the answers. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. The rest of it, you're overworking yourself. You're not that capable. If you don't listen to the person you're trying to serve, give to, love, you're not capable. You don't know how to love. Remember, we had that conversation here yesterday. But I'll leave that at that. So finding yourself, I think it's going to be a resounding, a recurring theme, because anytime somebody say find yourself, I'm going to be like, what do you mean? Depending on if I feel like engaging them. Gracious greatness. I'm a man, but maybe I'm feminine. I beg, my guy, how you doing now? I think say Ojebi. They are nowhere near no one in this age is traditional. You may be in love with traditional traits. The idea of traditional, it just doesn't exist. How do I know? Because you are yelling at yourself on the internet. Jesus Christ. My grandma RRP was a straight hustler, very strong woman. I miss her. Mine too. Both of them, hustlers. One of many wives. Traditional men did not have the luxury of complaining all day. No, they don't have time to sit around on the internet for 2 hours and be complaining. Oh, it's not complaining. It's just, yeah. I hear you. I understand. We need to hear men. But when after I hear you, you have to be willing to hear my advice. Okay. Maybe not. You have to pay me to give you advice. Let's see. All right, so let's do this. Let's move on to some other stories. I got some other stories I want to cover, or some other lesson stories, whatever you want to call it. I'll be right back. All right. Shout out to Linda AKG. Let's talk about Linda AKG. A news that I saw on that blog earlier today, and I'm like, interesting. Let's talk about this one right here. I'm gonna read it to you. It says the greatest decay of modern marriage today is not adultery, it's the phone. A UK-based Nigerian pastor says. Okay. Let's see. UK says, okay, so the greatest decay, not adultery, is the phone. If we could give our spouses as much touch as we give our phones, our marriages would be healthier. Let's talk about this in a few minutes. What do you think about this? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Right? What's your take on this? I want to know what you think about this. Is this sense or nonsense? Sense or nonsense? I don't know. Okay, Tommy Arayomi. Interesting. Sense or nonsense? What do y'all think about this statement? You agree or you disagree? Strongly agree or strongly disagree? Somewhat agree or somewhat disagree? Or indifferent? Which one? The greatest decay of the modern marriage today it's not adultery, it's the phone. Let's talk about it. If we could give our spouses as much touch as we give our phones, our marriages will be healthier. That's a really cute talking point. What do y'all think? Would you want extra touch? Is that who you are as a person? As much touch as a phone receives. That's literal. Like, just imagine how much touch a phone gets. Washroom break. Now break. I want to hear your opinions on this before I continue. Let's see. Okay. Well, we're on time, by the way. We're on time. Gracious greatness, my guy says maybe it's the other cultures that made it seem that they historically never used to work and were housewives, which is another work itself. Yeah, double the work, right? Double the work, right? Yeah. The greatest decay of modern marriage today is not adultery. D-Love says sense. Sense, right? Okay. Sense. I guess if you're telling all your business on the phone, then well, yes, that's another way of looking at it, right? Right? If you're telling all your business on that phone, then it's probably decaying. That probably makes if you are Mrs. Ibu, right? And you say, "Hey, look, he's beating me, oh." Right? He's beating me, oh. He didn't give me food yesterday. Never mind that I'm a little bit lazy too, but he's beating me and these children. That's a great way to use the phone to destroy a modern marriage. Can we consider Mr. Abel's marriage modern? Jesus. Excuse me. Let's see. Man, we need to. I pray that I accomplish my goals this year. Amen. Amen. Ola, we know the celebrity situation because of the phone. Right? But I think he's not talking about celebrities. Right? Even Mr. Ibu is on the phone. Wahala. Even our Afro-American cousins used to raise Oyibo people children. Yep, exactly. In recent times, gracious greatness, I'm sure you've seen it. A lot of people have been debunking a lot of the stupid talking point. I'm glad to see it. But the truth is that every single day. Thousands of people are entering the talking point. So it's kind of like a cycle. It's a terrible cycle, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. The people that are hit rock bottom or feel like they're at rock bottom and they want to do better, they will find us, because it's not going to be as simple as repeating a line, a one-liner that sounds cute, right? They are all contributing factor. The phone started the adultery now. Gome, thank you, Gome. No, before phone people they start. Abi, she the one, she want the wine mini. Right? Most adulteries these days started from the phone. So, which one? Which one is the symptom? Which one is the disease? And this equation needs to be the phone, Abby. So if we remove the phone, people will stop adultery, Abby. Okay. Let's oh Lord. I get his point. Adultery is still top notch. Wahala. Emotional cheating via phones, right? So the phone is the king. So what should we do? Should we remove the phones? Is it realistic to ask your spouse to put their phone away when they're coming into the house? Man or woman? Is that realistic? Right? Yeah, so welcome Yvette, welcome. You're on time, no worries. I thought it was finances. I never researched though. The stats usually says irreconcilable differences of finances and infidelity. That's what the normal stats usually say, you know. But I've always, in the last 100 episodes we've been doing the procedure hour, I've always called the cap.
Stop the cap.
What's destroying, if you have to dig it deeper, is pride and unrealistic expectations. That's what it comes down to, right? It's unrealistic expectations. So speaking of unrealistic expectations, is it realistic? Is it doable, right, to ask your spouse to put their phone away when they're coming through them doors at 6:30 p.m. in the evening? Put that phone away. Let's start touching each other, because he's talking about touch, right? Gentleman was talking about touch, right? Right? Let's have this conversation in a holistic way, right? Because he said if we could give our spouses as much touch. I understand it doesn't necessarily mean physical touch. I get that. Okay. But maybe attention, right? As much as we give our phones, right? Would that solve all of our modern marriage problems? Is my question. Though. Is that going to, including adultery, right? Including adultery. Would that solve the problem? That's all I'm trying to get at, you know. Exactly, that's what that means, right? Let's see. Adultery still happen during our papa time. Where cellular no day, even easier, because you don't have to track them by phone. If they leave and they come back 2 weeks later, it's because they were lost in the middle of the farm, right? So you can't track them with a phone. You can't put a tracker on their car, right? It's even much more easier, right? But hey, you know, person 1 year now for internet, for Linda EKG, them go hide, go mama Pokpo Gary house, chop clean mouth, like nothing happened. Have a whole family over there. They can actually have a whole family over there, right? And then you find out that you have a bunch of cousins 200 years later. Literally just happened to my family. Okay. chop clean mouth. I just rapper like saying nothing happened, including women. Hey, irreconcilable. I just don't like this motherfucker, right? Yep, that's what that means, right? I'm done. And then you want to hold them down by 1960 standards. You
Nothing juju be that.
Oh God. Oh my day.
Oh my days. Irú ọmọ wo wá rèé nítorí Ọlọ́run.
I think having a time set aside for no tech, okay. I think, listen, there's no ideas that doesn't work as long as we're on the same page, as long as there's unity in the ideology. And every idea will fall on its face if there's only one person who is subscribing to the ideology. I said that earlier today on Clubhouse. Like, a bunch of people are coming with all the religious talking points. This is what Jesus said, and this is what Paul said, and you shall honor. That's cute. But that's only good enough when you're both subscribed to the same ideology. Right? If you're not both subscribed to the same ideology, you will need seduction to get the other person to that same ideology. But why should that have to nurse you? You're not a baby. Like, well, welcome to the real world. It's romantic relationships. You have another choice. You can leave. Right? If you don't like that person enough to want them to be on the same page with you, you can also leave. Easier said than done. Granted. I'm so rude. Good day to those coming in. Welcome, welcome. The phone is not the problem. It's the mind. It's the people. It's always the people. There's one common denominator between 1960 and now. It's us. It's your mindset. Okay? It's your mindset with respect to the time that you live in. If you have disrespect for the times that you live in, if you keep saying things like it's devolving, listen, you could be right. We can turn around tomorrow, 3 days from now, and something just destroy all of us because somebody said a curse word over there. Right? That's possible, right? Like Sodom and Gomorrah just wiped out. You're right. But if you are here, you go collect. If you are here 3 days from now and you don't understand how this thing is working today, you go collect. And then you keep saying it's just devolving. You're right.
You're right.
Even Gomez says it won't solve the problem, Ola. No, it won't. Right. So the only thing that talking point does is it's cute for Linda Igechi to lift it and put it as a news, right? It's cute. It's cute. You want to touch people like they're touching the phone, blah, blah, blah. I beg, you can sit down somewhere. Gora says, even if the tech is taken away, they'll eat with their mind now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Nah, me. My village people keep calling and interfering with my listening. Cool, mama. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can round this up real quickly. Hell no, hold on. Accounting says it can depend on the level of intimacy bond between the partners as well as the current stage of the relationship. Yes, some couples may behave like mere roommates, like living together, while others, the phone can serve to enhance their connection. Yes. Hey, listen, the phone, your talking points, your religion, your ideologies, they are all double-edged sword. It's completely up to what you do with them. The number one core thing in any one of this, if you want to maintain your modern day marriage, maybe not your modern marriage, but your modern day marriage, is to make sure, do everything in your power to make sure you're on the same page with your partner. You're not on the same page right now, engage your seductive powers. Seductive powers know they work. That's because you don't like that person enough to even go through that process. That's fine. You leave. Easier said than done. Leaving doesn't have to be a permanent decision. It may just be what you need temporarily to start appreciating each other again. But what if they moved on before you came back? Maybe that's part of the problems. You're leading with fear. You're leading the relationship with fear. Just maybe that's the problem. Just maybe. Before you argue with it, just assess it. Talk to someone. Okay? Talk to someone. Open floor. Shout out to you. Sister, a cheater is a cheater. Phone or no phone. I I'll be right back. Let's move on to the next story. Oh. All right, so we keep talking about this maturity thing, maturity. I have a question for you all. Let's engage you all. Let's engage together really quickly. Maturity. What is maturity to you? What makes up what is what's the word? How did they say that in chemistry in those days? What is the composition of maturity? What are the ingredients you would want if you just use common sense, right? That you think is contained in maturity, right? We all know that age is part of it, but it's not just age, okay? But oftentimes we'll get into a little small arguments, right? Or pushback, right? About no, but maturity is not age. Maturity not be by age, right? And yesterday we were having a conversation around we know 60, 50-year-old people that are just not matured. Okay? They can't have a conversation without it turning to a high school debate. We know them, right? The same thing with women. There are women that are 70 years old that still don't know how to conduct themselves in public. That fight every time. Everything is about fight or condescension or sign language. Sign language, Jesus Christ, right? So what is the composition of maturity to you? Like, in addition to age, right? We know that we're not going to look at a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old and not automatically assume that that one is more matured, right? But we know that when we start getting into certain threshold, a 29-year-old man may just be wiser than a lot of 45-year-old men, right? We know that. We've seen these examples everywhere. So somebody says, accounting says tolerance level. I like that. I have a list, okay? I like that. Tolerance level. So I'm going to add some bonus to my list because of, if you have anyone, right, that is not already on my list, I'm going to share my list with you in a tolerance level. That's fantastic. I like that. Tolerance level is key, right? But tolerance level is, no, I won't take it. I'm going to reject it. Here's why I'll reject it. Tolerance level is more of the symptoms of a matured person. That's the signs of a matured person. I want what composes maturity, like what becomes maturity. The longer a person lives on this earth, the higher the chances of their increasing maturity. So the higher these elements, right? This thing is directly proportional to the level of maturity, right? The more you have this thing, the more. Now, the more matured you are, yes, I completely agree that the more what's the word? The more tolerance you probably have. The higher your tolerance level. That's on the other side. But before we get to maturity, we need these things, right? You're not asking a 2-year-old for maturity. You're asking a 16-year-old for a certain level of maturity. In fact, even though we know there are some slow 60 years olds, we're still holding them accountable if they're not matured enough, right? So because of that, my list, even the way, I'm looking at my list a little closer because of what just happened. I'm looking at it a little bit closer because of what just happened with accounting suggestion, right? Gomez says, oh yeah, do the difference between endurance and tolerance. Then endurance and tolerance, that's like the same thing. Endurance evolved a direct form of iya. Like there's actually some kind of suffering going on. Tolerance is like it's not a direct, it's like it's somebody else's problem, but they're going to be around you, sort of, or some kind of environmental factor, right? But endurance is like some kind of fire that needs to be put out. You have to endure it for a while. But I don't know. Same thing. It falls in the same category. Let me just go ahead and share it. Okay. And then I want you to push back if you see anything you want to push back against. But these are the things that all follows age and time. Okay. And when we say maturity, right? One of the reasons why this is very important is when we talk about wisdom, right? When we're talking about experience, right? Quite a lot of people still push back and say, no, you can hear that they're almost saying they can read everything in a book. Listen, you can read a lot. The books I write books, okay? Books are fantastic. Educational materials are fantastic. But experience will be your mate, okay? Experience will be your mate, okay? I will continue to call out every disrespect of experience. I will. We're in that generation where all the information we need is available on the screens. That's where we are. So, in fact, today I was watching the Honest Bunch, Nedu's show and there was this guy, Nas Boy. He kept saying, let me see, do I have Nas Boy here? Let me see. Because this may be, no, I don't have it. Yeah. And he kept saying that, he kept going like, we're smarter than our parents. You might be smarter than your parents, but in terms of wisdom, no, you're not. You might be smarter than your parents. You know how to code a whole computer to start talking, right? AI, artificial intelligence, right? Sure. Okay. But in terms of what makes this life function the way it functions, at the very minimum, at the very minimum, you can't relate with as much suffering as your parents. At minimum. In that, there's a lot of wisdom that comes with that. Respectable boundaries and adequate communication. So if you are these things, it adds to your maturity. No. If you're matured, you would have these things. They fall in the same category. Okay? If you're a matured person, you tend to be respectable. You tend to have healthy boundaries. Okay? You tend to know how to communicate, right? Yes, smiling and suffering that's endurance. Understanding the difference in human behavior and relations. Yeah, I guess. You know what? I'll push back against myself. But let me go ahead and share my list. Okay, I think it's all encompassing, right? All inclusive, right? All together, including the tolerance, endurance. Either it's symptoms, either it's before it, either it's the outcome, whatever. Okay, but when I think about maturity, right, it comes as a function of time and experience. Those two things are major. Okay, time and experience. Okay. There's a couple of other things that I'm going to add to that list. I just want you to process it. If you're watching this as a replay later, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, okay? Because it's an ongoing, moving thing, right? Understanding the difference between human behaviors and relations in regards to their level of awareness. I like awareness. I like that. Awareness comes with exposure. Exposure is on the list. Exposure creates maturity, a certain level of maturity. Okay. Experience is a teacher in handling life. Yes. We call it tacit knowledge, right? All right. So let's do this. Let me go ahead and share what I have. I know. Long-winded. All right. Here we go. Maturity, age, time, number one. Age, time. There's no need to continue to discount this, okay? If somebody is older than you, remember we keep talking about pride, humility as the fixer of that, right? If somebody have age, just accord them a certain level of respect. At least allow them to prove you wrong first. Assume that they have certain level of wisdom more than you. Just assume. Don't assume that we know them. So don't lead with that. Assume the best case scenario and let them prove you wrong. Okay. Sometimes they will prove you wrong. They are very, very. Some people get older and they get slower. Okay, it's true. But for your own good, assume that anybody that's older than you or anybody that has a longer experience, a much larger experience than you, knows something that you probably want. Just assume that. This is not kumbaya talk. This is for your own good. I know it sounds, my brother will say, that's kumbaya talk. That means kumbaya, right? But no, it's not. I'm not appeasing you. I'm telling you, you will collect big time for every time that you continue to discount age, aka time, and experience. I said you will collect big time if you continue to discount age, aka time, and experience. Number 3, exposure. Exposure is a big deal. If you're not well traveled, you'll be arrogant about everything. You think you know it all. Okay? Just naturally. Okay? If everything else being equal, if you are, all you know is your village, if you mix that up together with some other toxic traits, it doesn't help with maturity. Exposure helps you mature more in terms of life in general, and especially when we're talking about romance. It does. Okay? All types of exposure, not just travel. Okay? Just curiosity. Just asking, what else? Just asking, what do you mean? Just asking, that's interesting. Tell me more. Right? Just be more inclined towards that direction than, you know what? You're wrong. Okay. If you think I'm wrong, you're right. Okay.
You're right.
All right. Mental development, cognitive, the more mental, if you're going to feed your level of maturity, you can feed your mental development. So studies, books, more about mental health, right? More about, obviously everything else, right? Including number 5, emotional development, right? Just being open to learning. Not the learning itself. Not what you're learning itself. Just the idea that you're open. Understanding, starting with I don't know shit. Start with that. Always start from that. Okay? It's not a kumbaya talk. It keeps you open so you can keep learning. Okay? Number 6, part of that is your personality. It's not necessarily something you can control that much. It's just who you are. Okay? Your personality type. That can be your maturity level can be a function of your personality type. I speak blunt. That's just who I am. Okay, you too. You go collect. All right, and temperament. Temperament is not something you can change. It's something you can manage. Okay, there's more to this. But the major here is probably 1, 2, and 3. Age, time, experience, exposure. Time, experience, and exposure. Those are my top 3. I can change it. As I get enlightened more in life, I might decide to change it. But when we're talking about maturity, you can't talk about maturity by discounting age and time. If you do that here, I will push back at you. Always. Especially experience, number 2. Okay. Let's see. We have some addition here. Naivety. Let me see. When you're able to observe, attentive listening, appropriate reactions to a situation, these are all great signs of maturity. Right? So if you can improve these things, it will help you come off as matured. I will agree from that level. If you can work on improving these things, I think you should add responsibility to that list. Responsible, right? I think so too. Responsibility, accountability, right? Self-accountability, self-responsibility, right? Also, ability to continue. Hold on one second. Hey, baby. What's going on? How are you? Say hello to the people. Say hi. You good? Say hello. You're not going to say hello? Okay, bye. Go to mommy, okay? Bye-bye. All right, we're back. Ability to continue to grow positively emotionally. Yeah, those are things we can improve that will reflect your level of maturity as well, right? All right, so let's do that. Let's leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you have any addition to it, I will welcome it. Maybe we can continue going. But the reason why I felt the need to cover this particular conversation is because of a lot of relationship talks are being controlled by immature people, people that don't have any experience in what we're talking about. Okay, and some of them are very well enlightened, very smart, high IQ people. All right, but extremely low when it comes to EQ. Okay, and because of lack of experience, actually, they can define. They can tell you all 50 dictionary meanings, definitions of emotional intelligence, but when it comes to practice, it's odo. And it's no wonder because, again, lack of experience, right? So it was important for me to talk about this. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I want to talk about no divorce policy. No divorce policy. All right. Somebody left a comment that I felt like will help us elevate the conversation a little bit more. Okay. And I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it, right? They left a comment. There was a video that was released. The video is about 10 bad reasons for divorce. Okay. That video was not designed for people coming out of a divorce. That video, it makes sense that it will be quite, how do you say it? It'll be triggering for a person coming out of a divorce. It makes sense. Because you're human like the rest of us. If you're coming out of an unfavorable situation, you'll be triggered by anything that tries to trivialize it or anything that tries to, that rubs you off the wrong way, that creates friction against your emotions. It makes sense. But you get to a part of the conversation where you know that, you know what? There's something I might need to learn. Not religious talks, not absolute talks, but just some insights that I can add to my belief systems. They make me see things from a more objective standpoint. Okay. So somebody left, so it was about 10 bad reasons. Okay. And the person left this comment. And I want to show it to you and I want to hear your opinions on it. I want to see if you agree with it. See if you disagree with it. Let's elevate the conversation. Every time you leave a comment that asks further question or pushes back, it's an opportunity for us to elevate the conversation, right? What does the person say? The person says people whose philosophy is not to get a divorce. That's where the title comes from. No divorce philosophy. I don't have that philosophy here, by the way. I think if you want a divorce, absolutely knock yourself out. I'm sure you have your good reasons. And some of those good reasons are inside of what I claimed to be bad reasons. And I also said it in that video that honestly, some people abuse these reasons, but the truth is that we can't judge people. I said that clearly in that video. But emotions no be our mate, right? If you feel some type of way, you feel some type of way. You know, if you listen all the way through. And I am willing to bet my monthly livelihood that this person did not listen to the video. They were just triggered, but that's okay. It helps us elevate the conversation. So the person says, people whose philosophy is not to get a divorce and who bash people horrifically who are divorced, right? Even though they may not have wanted the divorce. That one is shalaye right there. That phrase right there, that's from even to wanted divorce. That one is shalaye. But it's okay. Hey, Jebure. They may not have wanted divorce, but were divorced upon. Let me see. There's more to this. There's more to it, right? Divorced upon. Okay, I think I found it. Don't get to lecture people about reasons for divorce. I want us to talk about this. Okay? Let's talk about it. Let's unpack it. There's a lot there, right? People whose philosophy is not to get a divorce. All right? I'm not sure if they're talking about me. I'm not going to assume they're talking about me. But again, I'm willing to bet that this person did not watch the video. So that's fine too. We must be doing a good job with the titles. And who bash people horrifically who are divorced, even though they may not have wanted the divorce, but were divorced upon. Oh, like somebody served breakfast. Okay, that one just made sense to me. Jesus. Don't get to lecture people about reasons for divorcing. I thought it was an interesting take. You know, the only thing I replied to that person is like, I beg, you didn't watch the video, drink some water. Drink some water. Gomez says, no person goes into a marriage with the intent later to divorce. I agreed. A lot of people beg to differ. I always disagree with them. A lot of people are of the opinion that the modern woman is just out to destroy the family. The marriage, the family, the idea of marriage, destroy family. A lot of people are of that opinion. A lot of people feel very strongly about that, you know. As time comes, as time goes, as we get bigger, some people will want to be on this platform. We'll get some people involved in debates where we can have maybe more statistically data-driven conversations around this. Right now, let's just keep talking about the emotional, intelligent part of the conversation. Different reasons for different folks would do. Okay, that's what you got out of that. Granted. Gracious Greatness saying, no, please drink coffee. Oh, that she go. Rest will be back in the morning. You know her. Right, so I want to know your thoughts about this. Honestly, let me get only Gomez have opinion about this. Gome. Is it Gome? How do you pronounce this? Right, people whose philosophy is not to get a divorce. Okay, now let me tell you something. People whose philosophy is not to not get a divorce, they will continue to attract more divorce. This is I did a video, it's probably going on a year or no, so now it's probably on the Clips channel, and that video is about the fact that the church is continues to demonize divorce. Demonizing divorce does not help prevent divorce. It actually attracts more divorce. Okay. That's why a lot of people keep saying they didn't see it coming. they didn't see it coming. Oh, Gome, okay. All right. So I don't agree with anybody that holds dear philosophy, no divorce. I don't agree with that 100%. I don't agree with that. Okay. However, that will stop me from saying these reasons are good reasons for you to work on your marriage. If you can still find it in you to work on the marriage. If you can't find it in you to work on the marriage, all your reasons, doesn't matter. It's probably accurate. It's probably on point. It's how you feel. It's the reality, right? right? But somebody's gonna hear that video and they'll be like, all right, let me see what I can do to edify what I got. And some people will listen to it, granted. Let me be honest with you. Some people will listen to that and they're supposed to leave, but they can't leave because now they're feeling some level of self-guilt. So I understand that that video has an upside, it has a downside. It is what it is. But for me, my concern is a person that will see one of those reasons, right? And will say, you know what? Let me lean into my marriage. Maybe I can work on it, right? Maybe. Also, there's some things that I said in that video to help the man or woman that would hear some of these reasons not to overreact to them, because they are mostly feelings, valid feelings, but their feelings are temporary by nature. If you overreact to it, it makes it grow wider and bigger, right? But if you react accordingly to it without overreacting, if you see it as this is how my partner feels right now, you'll be in a better position to be able to address situations, right? And people who bash horrifically who are divorced, I have listen, personally, I know there might be people that are doing that. I'm not in their space. People that bash divorcees, I'm not in their space. So I can't speak too much to that. We definitely don't do that here. I believe that divorce is part of many, many people's journey. And it's actually a blessing in disguise for all of them. It's an opportunity for a second chance to get this right. Right? That's what I believe about divorce. Right? Let's see. Mr. Ola, what did the person say after the ... Oh, I did show that earlier. You were busy with Gorek's Corner. Don't get to Lex, he or she said, whoever is bashing or whoever have philosophy, don't get to lecture people about reasons for divorcing. So I guess it's speaking, again, maybe the person is speaking to me. Again, they didn't watch the video. It's obvious they didn't watch the video, but that's fine, right? They don't get to lecture about reasons for divorcing. Who gets to lecture about reasons for divorce? That will be the next natural question. So who gets to, I'm guessing only divorcees, right? Is there anything we can learn from reasons for divorcing? Now, let me be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm a marketer here. Some of you know about this book, Digital Marketing Certified, right? That's actually a phrase that's heavily searched on the internet. We were simply answering the question with some, we were, basically doing some shalaye around it, right? This is what it looks like on this other side and the other side. Maybe this is doing it. Don't overreact to it. But hey, this is an opportunity to work on your marriage. It's not always an opportunity to exit your marriage. It could be, but it's not always. But there's a lot of people running around the internet for an opportunity to feel better. I understand it. I get it. Okay. Let's see. In Igbo, GH gives a sound. I don't know what GH is. Gives a sound like you are passing air through your throat. So I was pronouncing that. Oh, go. Got you. Go, man. I got you. Chie always got me. All right. People typically do not enter into a marriage with the intention of divorce, but would it be preferable to remain in a toxic marriage under the guise for better or worse? That's a good question, but that's also assuming that all marriages that ended were just outright unsalvageable toxic marriage. That's not true. There are many avoidable divorces happening. Majority of them are avoidable. Majority. Avoidable doesn't mean you're capable of avoiding it. Doesn't mean it's your fault for letting it go through. It's just your life journey. It's just what it is. It was meant to be that way. But that shouldn't stop us from learning what we need to learn. There are many avoidable divorces. Just only if there will be another chance to learn one little extra something. A lot of marriages are saved on a daily basis. I want you to be aware of that. That's all. Just awareness. Okay? Because even if you're a divorcee and you get in second marriage, there's a 75% chance that it will end. That's the stats. 75 to 80% chance. Maybe you can learn something that instead of not having the skill set or the opportunity or the knowledge to learn something, now you can actually build. You can actually build something, right? Just maybe. It's just a maybe. There's no guarantees in life, right? Yeah. Gracious Grace says, go and divorce now. Who is holding Una? Voila. Joining late, but hey, I'm here. Wait, Latu. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. It's Indy Tony says it's not a matter of age, but instead of how you choose to respond and react to various life situations or a level of mental development. It is a matter of age always. There is certain level of mental development you don't expect from a 5 years old. It's always a matter of age. At least from your standpoint, apply humility when you see somebody that's older than you, just for your own good. That's all. All right, so that's all I have to say about that. I think, again, I will keep address. If I see anything important like this, I don't agree with no divorce policy. I think if people want to divorce, I think they want out. Let them go. Let go. Letting go is one of the hardest things for human beings to do in general. Yeah, it is. For all of us, right? But that's why if you can figure it out, it's highly rewarding. The church, they put extra effort in demonizing divorce, and that's a problem. That's a problem. When people feel like they have options, they tend to also want to do better. When they don't feel like they have options, it feels like they're inside a cage, right? You have to love in a way that the person feels free. If they don't feel free, nothing good is going to come out of it anyway, right? So a lot of people want to shame divorce. I'm not part of those people. I think divorce is not always a bad thing. Okay, it's a failure of a marriage. It doesn't have to be the failure of a person, right? But clearly, a marriage that somebody subscribed to, they didn't want it to fail, failed, right? There's a lot there. So Gomez says, I don't agree with no divorce policy too. I'm glad. Yeah. There's just more to it than just encouraging people just leave or discouraging people from saying, hey, this is an option. Now, like for example, Pastor K and the wife always talk about no divorce policy. And I can't agree with that. I understand they're coming from a religious standpoint, and it can encourage some people to put in more work on working on their marriage. But I just think there's so many divorces that clearly that's not working, right? Instead of worrying about marriage status, divorce status, let's help people learn how relationships work. Let's focus on the underlying relationships. If people are in healthy relationships, the last thing they want is divorce, right? If it's toxic and trapping, thank you, Jerry, unique, then it's time to let go. And yeah, letting go doesn't have to be a permanent decision, but you have to learn how to let go in life in general, right? Just as marriage was put in place by God, so was divorce. Yes, it doesn't negate the fact that God hates divorce, the talking point. We know, me too, I hate divorce, but I can't be telling people that divorce is not an option. It is. That's the reality, right? So, D-Law says, absolutely, divorce can be a lifesaver. It's not like anyone is eager to be divorced, but sometimes it's the only option. Yes, particularly when you understand that mentally, some people just feel like have you ever heard voices in your head? Yeah, stop. Like, instead of worrying about the marital status, engage the person. What's the issue? There's deeper issue than the certificates, the divorce itself. There are deeper issues. That's what we need to be talking about, right? No divorce usually leads to elimination, and yes, exactly. I don't want to read it out, but I know what you mean, unique. It leads to people continue feeling like there's nothing else to live for. Nah, we can't keep doing that. And all those people go to church. So that's not the issue. The issue is not forcing people to become like, no, never divorce. Like, no, that's not the issue. Focus on teaching people, enlightening people how relationships, the principles that helps create healthy relationships. And then that will solve the other surface problem, which is divorce. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and move on to the next story. All right, welcome back. This topic that we're talking about is about coffee dates. What do you think, ladies, especially if you're single, what do you think about coffee dates? I want to know your thoughts about coffee dates. Do you have issue with coffee dates, or you're okay with coffee dates? Are you okay with coffee dates? If you're not single, you were advising a young lady, is coffee dates okay? This is a reaction. Okay. We're about to get into a little bit of a reaction here. Okay. I'm sharing my screen right now. Let's see. Coffee dates. What do you all think about coffee dates? What do you think about coffee dates? Is that a no-go area? Listen, we're in the time a lot of gurus are advising men. Let me give you the background to it. A lot of gurus are advising men to vet first, go on coffee dates, because many of them are complaining that, they're complaining that, they ended up spending too much money on dates, and a lot of these women are not serious. They just want to eat and then ghost. A lot of them are getting ghosted after eating. After their food is being ate, right? So, this topic, coffee dates by cheap bastards. What's your take on coffee dates? What do you think? Let me see. What's everyone saying? Coffee dates. Let's see. Coffee dates. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Indie Tony. I'll make sure I cover that before I leave. Indie Tony, just stick around, okay? I'll make sure I cover that. Indie Tony is waiting patiently for where to meet babe. Lubate. Coffee dates are great. You make your decision sharp. So you don't mind coffee dates. I guess you're saying that. Gomez says, I'm okay with coffee dates. It makes the elimination process faster for me. Okay. All right. I hear that. It depends on where I meet them. Let me just say here. If I meet them online, I prefer coffee. That's a good point, right? Because you don't really know them, right? It's safer and easier to navigate. It can be quicker. Grab a quick coffee. Go work. Keep it moving, right? Thank you. We surely. Jesus Christ. Let's see. You see my thoughts in it. Okay. I have no issue with it. So it looks like a lot of women don't mind coffee dates, right? A lot of the ladies, I should say, don't mind the coffee dates. Having a 3-course meal with someone you don't know awkward dinners are far too intimate. All right. So this is, to me, it sounds good, because a lot of men are saying that they end up spending $200 per plate and getting ghosted. Are you saying it sounds like they're overdoing themselves? Is basically them right? Is that what's going on here? Having a three, okay, we already covered that. Let's see. Nothing wrong with coffee dates. More emphasis on the individual, on the date, as opposed to a 3-course ebati amala, right? Amala joint. Who lives in Houston here? It's called amala joint, something like that. That food was good. Anyway, right? Is the chemistry is off? I don't want to be stuck. Okay, so if the chemistry when you meet them in person is like, where's the exit sign? Right? I need an exit. All right. Just in case it's not going well, next, please. Okay. So it sounds like a lot of women don't mind coffee day. So I want you to hear this young lady's opinion. And let's take it from there. Let me see.
That she got to look nice, or just a starting point. You got to be a little attractive, and you got to be able to afford a date. You can't be offering a woman a coffee date or a meet up at your crib. You got to be able.
I take coffee dates.
Nothing wrong with a coffee date now.
I take coffee dates.
Well, I personally, I like a little more intention and effort from a man.
Well, that's
And
not
I agree. Hold up. Let me finish, y'all, because I know y'all gonna get on me. And I like it when you get on me because listen.
That you do.
You know what, Hank? We gonna fight after this.
Where's
But let
that
me tell you.
soundboard when you need it?
Let me tell you something. Okay, when you're attractive, you attract everything. And the way that I weed out people is I don't do coffee dates, because that tells me that you probably are dating multiple women and you have a.
Wait, it tells me you're dating multiple women. That's what she said. Let's keep going.
Dating budget.
Dating budget.
You probably are dating multiple women and you have a dating budget. Bingo. And you trying to fit me in that. You don't feel like I'm good enough for an hour or two of conversation over a meal and drinks, because you haven't taken the time to vet my mind and my heart. You talked to me 2 times. You text me 2 times. You haven't even called me. This is how I vet men, because if you can't sit with me for 2 hours, that means you haven't vetted me.
All right, let me slow down. This is how she vets men, she said. She's the one doing the vetting for herself. It's fine. I guess that's how she chooses men. Elimination. All right. Wahaler. Let me see. It says, I once had a dinner date, it's actually several, and it was the most uncomfortable conversation that get me out of here in my head with a smile. So are you saying that this young lady clearly doesn't go on dates a lot? Because if you go on dates a lot, then you would have seen some awkward dates that you want to run out of. But she's saying, no, you have to treat me. Don't come with that budget BS. Right? I don't mind coffee dates. In fact, I prefer that because some men feel entitled to ask for certain things. Besides, we're just getting to know each other, just to guide my space. Okay, Miss Colley. Lovely. Oh, did I play Tinobu? I did, right? One was talking about how big his bola was. Go right now. You know, go proper now. Anyway. Hey, shout out to all the new subscribers. Unique, I don't think I've seen your name. Thank you, gracious greatness. Thank you. Help me welcome my people. Welcome. Yeah, she must have a lot of time on her hands to be having 2-hour dinner with possible non-connection, right? That's another way to look at it, right? You know, especially if you're a woman of a certain age, a man of a certain age, you're going out on dates, you're open to dating right now. I don't know, you know, and the idea that somebody is, I think I just smell a lot of entitlement in what she's saying. But I mean, when I compare it to, that's why I ask you first, right? Sounds like a lot of entitlement. Like you have to, you can't be on a budget. Okay. She must have a lot of time on her hands. Okay. She clearly doesn't go on dates, Because if you go on a few dates and you notice that most of them are going to be flaky in nature, no connection, the last thing you want to do is go and be sitting down and be wasting time, right? Yeah, I think I've seen Unique here before. Shout out to Unique though. Welcome, Unique. Welcome. She don't feel like a strong competitor. Esteem issues and is already intimidated by coffee, dating, or men who give her competition. Yeah, she don't feel like a esteem issue, like a strong competitor is probably intimidated by coffee dating men who give her competition. Okay, yeah, attitude is something else, child. And Unique says, "I'm a female." Let's do proper welcome for Unique. Welcome. Yeah. People they talk biology. You people they talk of chemistry. What to be did? She na brownstone. Fruits be that. Wahala. Well, Biko shout out Unique. Okay, we did that already. Awesome. Welcome, Unique. Shout out to you. Accounting says it can sometimes stem from past experiences to avoid making mistakes, and a better approach could be to have a coffee date to determine if a relationship is worth pursuing further. Yeah. Let me continue the video a little bit.
Properly enough to know that I'm deserving of so much more. And even so, I don't take myself on coffee dates. So why the hell would I allow a man?
She's dead ass.
Somewhere that
You like
no, hold up. Let me finish. Let me finish because I'm only drinking coffee so I can stay awake because I've probably been, doing things all night, like taking care of a household. So when I'm going to work, I'm getting a cup of coffee. It's jittery. It's giving me work vibes. It's giving me an interview. And I need intimacy. I need to get to know you in an intimate way where you're being vulnerable. And can you really be?
Run into him during lunch period?
I'm not doing it.
Y'all let her finish.
I'm not
let her get it off.
Yes, let her finish.
Yeah, I'm not allowing the man to fit me in his schedule very quickly because I am something to attain, and I'm something that you really want to get to know and see if I'm on your team or not. And you can't really do that over a jittery coffee in a coffee date where someone's studying next to me, someone's in a business meeting. It's not my cup of tea. I don't knock women who do it because y'all want to just get through it real quick. Y'all want to give them 30 minutes, and I'm not gonna get in my designer car. My luxury vehicle, put on my designer clothes, even though that's nothing to me. Hold up. That's nothing to me because I'll give it all away in a minute for the right. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing to me. But I'm just saying I'm not doing that to go and meet you at Starbucks or some little quaint coffee place that you done looked up on Google. If you can't take me to a 5-star Michelin restaurant or someplace nice, at least you could research, even if you want to do free. If you're on a budget, you could do a free museum. I might meet you there. But
she said a free museum.
Take me for no coffee and a Danish. But go ahead.
Now let me say.
Wow. I feel her. I won't accept no coffee dates either. Princess, in fact, your name says it all. You won't accept coffee dates either, right? Okay, all right. Let's see. This is the same MFS be crying in the car. Oh Lord. She won't accept. Accept is the key word. Accept. Right? Now Ruth Chris only. No, they tolerate coffee dates. Don't lower your standard. Don't lower your standard, right? Isn't that a talking point? Never lower your standard. People's level of entitlement is effing crazy for me. The lady's a gold digger. She ain't messing with no broke. I don't want to call you a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Yeah. So I don't know, So he should be entitled to your crutches the first round. Then Jesus Christ. Anyway, here's my take on it. Let me leave my take on it so I can go to my other person's topic real quick. I know it's Kanye West song now. Yeah. Let's see. Now I think everyone has the right to their preferences, but they also have all the rights to the consequences. Okay. They also have all the rights to the consequences of those unrealistic expectations. Okay. I always address the person that's talking. She's the one that's talking, and I'm using her to create content because she was on a public platform. And so I will address her. This is entitlement at best. She's absolutely correct. It should be about connection. I think somebody else also said that in the chat earlier. It should be about connection. If you're connected with the person, wherever the person wants to take you, it should be their choice. And it can also be your choice to say, no, I don't want to go there. But again, like I said, there's consequences, right? Consequences can be long term. Okay. As in, like, you might not see it until 7 years from now. 7 years from now, everything, including everyone, gets old. Everything literally gets old. You might be in a space where you're now willing to to accept just anything. I think it should be about connection. If a person wants to, like she said herself, somebody wants to take you to go and spray a free perfume at the mall, just to walk around the mall. If you like them, like, why not? Remember, if you like them. By the way, the reality is that if you like them, you probably accept more BS. Okay? If you like them, if you're more open, right? You accept all types of BS. By the way, coffee is not free, right? The only thing I would lose in all of that is just the entitlement. It just comes up so. And she might say, oh no, I'm just talking on the panel. Cap. The true selves show up on the panel. Okay? Your true self show up on the panels. The way you conduct yourself shows up on the panel. It shows in at least to show your attitude. Okay? So, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong, right?
Oh, you're right.
Gracious Greatness says they need to have game. Mr. Allah, they should be creative with something the lady would like and use a bit of initiative. They could be trying to be creative, but you already, because you blanket coffee into this negative thing that you'll never go to, you're not even willing to relax and find out. Just be open to go and get to know a person, right? That's all anyone should be doing. Just be open to the idea of getting to know another person. Instead of setting stupid rules all over the place. The one thing that's killing the dating game is all the rules. AKA standards. AKA everyone is disconnected. Grossly disconnected from what they actually like in their person. They don't know, they're not even patient with themselves to find out. Right? But again, there's nothing wrong with preference. You don't have to be finding out everything. There's nothing wrong with that. But she was just coming off very, very much like she thinks she's and clearly, some people have a different opinion. Let's keep playing.
Y'all ladies talk enough, man.
Go ahead.
God damn.
Go ahead.
So, men, I'm talking to you guys. Because these type of chicks, that's what I be talking about.
That's why I wanted to bounce.
They don't give a goddamn about you. They don't give a shit about your black ass. Example one, Ali. don't want to go on a coffee date because I feel like I'm better than that. I'm too good for that. I'm not going to jump in my luxury.
Why
car.
would I
No,
go
no, no,
someplace I
ma'am,
won't go by
ma'am,
myself
allow me to
because
speak.
you invited
I didn't
me?
interrupt you, ma'am.
Don't
Please
attack
allow
me.
to speak.
Don't
Shout
attack me.
out to Hank.
Please allow me to
Let him
speak.
finish. Let him finish.
So, okay, I'm not going to attack you personally, but women
Yeah,
like
because
this,
you sound like a misogynistic
like-
man.
okay, thank you. Women like
First of all, Hank needs to know that this is all personal attack. Might not be the intention, but if it's being received as personal attack, you go collect. Okay, that's just the reality. Don't come to me and act all surprised if somebody receives it as personal attack. But let's keep going.
this is an example of what I'm talking about on a regular basis. But she's not the only one, because she's dealing with Instagram dudes. That's the type of dude she's talking about. She want the money and the looks. Yeah, he gonna show you all that, but he owns nothing. Matter of fact, he don't own the shirt on his back. But you'll get him because you think he's got the bag and he's got the nice looks and he's 5'11". Yeah, that's what the type of dudes you want, and that's cool. But
It
for
sounds
women
like
to
you're
make
being
it
hurt by a beautiful
I'm
woman.
not-
It
I'm
sounds
not
like you're
directing
being
to-
hurt by a beautiful woman.
I'm
And just
saying-
because I'm beautiful doesn't mean that you can categorize me in the same category as that
You're
woman.
beautiful to somebody.
I have
It's not me.
substance. Hold up.
No, you
I'm
don't,
beautiful
man.
to you too because that's why
No,
you
no, you're
targeting
not.
me. I have
No,
to
I'm talking
be beautiful
because
because you're
it's a
targeting me.
cap.
You're
Because of the
targeting
statement.
me.
Your
And I
conversation.
have the right to think and feel how I want. You
I
can't
understand.
censor.
Did you know that veggie sprays have been proven to leave nasty residues? So why are
That's
we still
funny,
using
that's
it? It
funny.
doesn't clean our produce well.
Me.
Well, ma'am, can I
Just,
finish?
you don't own
Can I finish,
nothing.
ma'am?
What do you
Can I
own?
Can I finish?
What do you own?
No,
As a
Hank, you
whole.
can't finish.
Can I finish, ma'am?
Because I want to know why you seem
Can I
to
finish?
put me in a category
Ma'am,
as some
Okay,
ratchet
exactly.
women
can I finish?
who use men.
Ma'am, can
No,
I
I'm
finish?
letting you. I'm
I
having
didn't say
a
nothing about
dialect
you
with
using
you.
men.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
didn't say nothing about you using men. You're not the only
I'm
one.
not gonna allow you to
You're
sit
not
and
the first
degrade
one,
me.
but
That's
what
some
you want to do
dumbass
is
shit.
that.
That's what black men look.
All right. Let me keep my stream clean. Anyway, I think Hank has a lot to learn when it comes to relating with the ladies. But it's okay. He will learn too with experience. Experience is the best teacher. After a while, you notice you keep getting the same results. You hold yourself accountable. Stop trying to hold strangers accountable. This lady is who she is. She's exactly what that is. It is what it is. The only thing you can do is engage or disengage. Okay? Somebody said, but that's you encouraging women with bad behavior. Brotherly. Amabino. You can go about internet and start educating everybody you see that acts in a certain way. It is what it is. But she clearly got triggered. She got triggered, and I generally wouldn't engage someone like that. I just won't. Because she's made up her mind. What's the point? Why? Because I need to be right? No, I generally wouldn't engage that. Just say her attitude is trash. Sorry, she's not a victim. No, I don't think she was a victim. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was on the panel. Why he coming at her like that? She have a right to her opinion. Yeah, Hink moves like that. Hink too go collect. It's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time, but he will learn with time. If like I said, people have the right to their opinion. People have a right to their preferences. If I find it interesting, I find it interesting. If she feels attacked, it becomes an attack. It's not your definition of attack. Does that make sense? Ola, you're wrong. You're encouraged. I know, but you continue to get the result you're getting. Anyway, also the media creates complexity with the dating circle. It messes up perception and comprehension of reality. Yes, that's why. You bring it back to basics. Keep it simple. You don't like it, you don't like it. If you notice that you're creating terrible results after a while, you'll pivot. You might not have second chances. It is what it is. This life is a war zone. It's casualties. It's okay. Okay? Hopefully you have enough time to pivot, to course correct if you notice that some kind of methodologies or talking point is not working for you. Hopefully you have enough time. But ultimately, I think what makes the world goes around is to allow people to have their opinion and their preferences, and the reality is undefeated. It's undefeated, right? It is what it is. Good night. Good night, Indy Tony. Hink is a very stubborn person. He go collect too. But I yield. I'll wait for it. It only takes 3 months. Hey, Just Jay, have you noticed the changing talking point from logic? I'm like, what? All you have to do is wait 3 months. That's it. 6 months tops, right? That's interesting. Shout out to Lady Navarre. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you only speak certain people. Gracious, greatness. Okay, I see. Yeah. I do think she eventually got kicked off the panel. I think all of that was not necessary. All of that was lame behavior. Okay, all of that was not necessary. It's a panel. People can have different opinions. Engage the conversation. Just because somebody is acting out of character doesn't mean you have to act out of character. 2 wrongs don't make it right. Especially from a man to a woman. You're not the same. You're playing equality again in the same breath that you're asking to be a leader. It just doesn't work. You're confused yourself, you know? But it is what it is, you know? Let's leave that alone. Let me move on. Let me go to this other topic that somebody was waiting for. Like I said, I probably wasn't going to have a chance to cover everything today. Somebody wanted to know the five. Let's get to it. I'll be right back. All right, 5 places to meet your life partner. Any opinions so far? Any opinions so far? 5 places. What's the best place to meet a life partner these days? Right? What's the best places? What's the most likely places? What's the D-Love says online already. That's the most likely places, right? Is that the best place? There's 2 different things, right? What's the best place, right? What's the most unlikely place to meet a life partner? Hola, these people are off my algorithm. I'm only seeing this because other people have had it up. I know. Yep. Let's see. Yo, I'm sorry if I missed something. I'm not chatting with only certain folks. I think we're all a family here. No, you're good, my brother. I think you're good. All right. So where are the 5 places to meet your life? I have an article that I wanted to review here just in case something to consider. I said I was going to bring this because I saw another guy, Pat David talked about this. And I couldn't really find the studies, right? And the studies shows that I couldn't find it. If you find it, please send it to me or just leave it as a comment somewhere. Send it into the WhatsApp group, right? It's the studies that shows that the longest lasting, most sustainable marriages, they met through family and friends. Something like that. Okay? Something like that. Okay? That's what the studies, but I couldn't really quite find it, so I decided to just talk about this, you know. But 5 places to meet your life partner. Church? Is it church? Is it church? Somebody tell me, where did you meet your life partner? I met my life partner where did we meet? We met on Thanksgiving Day at a friend's house, again through a friend. Actually, we met because my friend, one of my best friends, asked me to go pick up some few friends, and she happened to be one of those few friends. Okay, and then I brought them over to the to the Thanksgiving party, right, on Thanksgiving Day. This was 2003. That's how I met my wife. All right. So again, through a friend. But again, that's 2003. So it's 2023 now. Jesus Christ. I'm telling on myself. It's 20 years ago. Almost. Oh my God. Man's getting old. Right? Right? Man's getting old. Anyway, so is it two friend, true family, church, school, right? These are different things. I just said four, right? But let's see what this article says. Let's go through this article, shall we? All right, so this article, shout out to Zola, wherever this is, Zola, right? Top places where couples met, where they met, okay? At school, Zola.com. At school, 28% of couples say that they met in an educational setting. All right, so let me add on to that story really quickly. So we met, friends. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nothing until the next spring in 2004 in school. Okay, it was on a college campus, and then we met. So school, number one, school, right? Well, obviously, people of certain ages, 24, 23 years old, right? So if you're no longer in school, it's high chances you're not going to meet people in school, right? But you might want to consider enrolling for graduate studies if that's something you've always wanted to do, right? Just something to consider, right? Accounting says most likely places could be church, the mall. The mall means you have to have confidence to step up to people and have a conversation, right? Online, at weddings, and soon even in the virtual world of the metaverse, right? Yeah, just say I did everything backwards, so I missed the school thing. I know, I understand, but the good news is that there are options here, right? And remember, at any age, you can always re-enroll for some kind of graduate studies and stuff. Just listen, as long as it's not inside the house. Okay, you can meet people online too, but I don't know. I think it's better for you to also simultaneously build your social skills or continue to build your social skills. Engage people. People can see you wholesomely. They're not trying to find out at coffee dates if it's awkward or not. They can already feel a connection with you because they know what you're about. You're serious about life. You're going to school. You're involved in church activities. All these kind of things that makes us humans, right? These are the things that can increase your chances. Something that's going to hurt a lot of people is the fact that we're all inside the house for so long. I'm guilty of it. Okay, I haven't been outside since Saturday. Today's Tuesday. I haven't literally been outside. Terrible. Right? Number two, online dating. It's 2023. You have to be open to online dating. Well, we already said 28% of couples say they met in an educational setting. You can go find the article, read it yourself. Online dating. Technology is a new way by dating via an app. Online dating doesn't have to be, what's the name of Tinder? It doesn't have to be Tinder or Bumblebee. What is it? What's the most popular one out there right now? It doesn't have to be. It could be simple Instagram. It could be simple Facebook. It could be right here on YouTube. You don't put your face on your what do you call it, the DPs. I understand that you want to keep some privacy, but I think a lot of people are missing out a lot by doing that. Okay? Put a good headshot on your DPs. Just Jay, a few weeks ago, you had such a beautiful headshot. Replace it. Put it back up. Connect to people. Right? Only if you promise yourself you won't engage weirdos online, because weirdos will try to find more information and do all kind of crazy stuff. But the clubhouse people, that's shots at the clubhouse people right there. Let's see. Fumi says, I don't have a life partner yet, but I met a guy at a friend's party 2 weeks ago. We went to a wine bar on Sunday, and he asked me today if I want to go for dinner. That's what I'm talking. You don't understand what kind of goosebumps just went through my body. Don't miss out on another get-together, unless you have to, of course, right? But too many people are getting comfortable with being inside. Too many people. I can afford to. But not really, okay? Not really, okay? Because networking is a part of our life for the rest of our lives. Okay? All right. Meet your life partner at the gym. That's a good idea too. Okay? Go to mommy. Go to mommy. At the gym. That's also a good idea. I think if you're working out, if just about the things you would normally do to improve yourself, right? I think these are all good opportunities to meet people, okay? A potential life partner. You meet a person in person as opposed to, you know how many people that I see on DPs and they look, in your head you make up what you think they look like, but when you meet them in person, it's a complete different vibe entirely, right? Because everyone is a certain way on the internet, right? Behind the keyboards, right? Something to pay attention to. Yeah. Yep. At work, that is dangerous. Problem in the bedroom can lead to problem in the boardroom. That's true. But I wouldn't think that far. I wouldn't think that far. If you meet somebody at work, it's okay. Okay. Now, I don't see anything wrong with it on the surface. Listen, you could meet a person at school and there will be, I can probably spell out 10 other different problems in the future that can come from that too. There's no need to say, listen, there's about 10,000 other what ifs that can happen, right? Let's just stay here for a second. Meeting a life partner. Most people don't even stay on the same job anymore for a long time, right? Some people work from home, people work in different parts of the company, right? I wouldn't worry about that, right? Number 3 is through friends. We already talked about that. The friend network still works, right? 19% of surveyed people met their partner through a friend. So it may be a lot of people, the older they get, the more uncomfortable they get with their friend introducing somebody because they feel judged. Don't do that to yourself. Be open. Keep an open. You're a person of a certain age. There's no shame. You're an adult, open to meeting other people. Keep it simple. One of the biggest problems with the dating scene is overthinking everything. So it may be time to let your friends know that you're ready to mingle. It's not like an announcement right there, It's in conversations, right? Because you could start with something as simple. Don't tell people that you're not ready to mingle. Don't say that. Why would you ever feel the need to tell people that I'm single but not ready to mingle? Why? Yeah, I'm single. You stop it right there. There's no need for extra shalaye, mansplaining. I'm single. Wait, are you trying to say you're open to meeting people? What do you mean? You have somebody? Do you have a Dangote son? Turn it to a joke. But don't go towards the negative so soon. All right? Have your friends introduce you to their single friends. Okay? At work, it may feel weird to date and work in the same place, but for some, it works. For some. 11, some people say, no, don't. They can harass you for harassment. That's nonsense. That's lame talk. Okay? A certain type of people that are accused of that. Okay? If you move like a respectable person, nobody's accusing you of that kind of stuff. Typically not. Okay? Why do we always go towards the extreme? Okay? One couple in the survey says that they met while he was a cashier at Charge and she was his customer. So even people that are not six-figure earners are still meeting people. Another engaged couple shared, we met as members of a, Philharmonic chorus. If you're a singer, Join the choir. Jesus Christ. If you're open to the idea, join the choir. Only if you can sing. If you come to my choir and you can't sing, I will scrutinize your. Anyway, another engage. Okay, we met as members of the for the Grammy, right? Talk about an award-winning connection. And speaking of work, your work events. That's not on this list. Your work events. All the net. If you're a realtor, go to the networking realtor event. If you're whatever they do, there's an event that has to do with your profession. You need to be a part of it. You need to pay that $100, $200 to be a member and be a part of it, and go every year. Not only are you going to improve yourself, connect with professionals to help you, because it's who you know, it's not what you know, right? But yes, you can meet a life partner too. All right, let's keep going. Oh, it's also confirmation that these are normal human beings, not weirdos behind keyboards, right? Listen, we're behind keyboards. Obviously, everyone is behind keyboards, but there's some weirdos behind keyboards, okay? And sometimes they sound smart and everything, but when you meet them in person, or what about just meeting them already because you already know they're in your world? You already know the people in your professional world, right? It's something to consider, okay? Some people say other popular places, a bar. You may be thinking that meeting someone at a bar is so cliche and it can only mean that you're looking for a one-night stand. Obviously, that's false. Not always, if you're a man, woman of certain age, I wouldn't, unless you're going to a bar to meet a friend for real, you're already meeting a friend. I definitely wouldn't pay too much attention to that. Facebook, the same thing as online dating. It's no different. You can meet a person online, okay? Through family members love to help their loved ones find love. It might not be so bad as they may know what you need. His grandfather and I worked together at the YMCA. Interesting. He tried to get us to exchange numbers without meeting for a month before we agreed to. We met for our first date 2 days later, says one survey participant. Another one added. Wait, how many people was in the studies again? Okay, this is not the one with let me see. 4,000 engaged couples. 4,000. You stopped hearing me, right? Sorry about that. Network. We already covered the basis. Sorry about that. Network. Okay. Network. Any opportunity to network, connect with other people. Okay, no, because remember it's a network, all types of nodes, right? Every person you connect with, they don't have to be your life partner. It's an opportunity to connect with so many other people in the network. Okay, and the internet is still weird. Okay, Gomez says some of these weirdos are either in unhappy marriages or just getting out of a divorce and angry with women. Yeah, get out and meet real human beings. Okay, the internet thing, it doesn't mean you can't have a profile, a basic profile, have nice pictures on your Instagram pages, comment on other people. You see compliments, sure, that's fine. Slide in DMs if you already know somebody that knows them. That's okay, But it's just the strong point in this is, get out. Okay, join the professional organizations of your profession. Get out to the events, travel, take a trip, and go to the company event, to the industry event. Okay, do that. Listen, I know it's difficult because I'm guilty of this, but you need to do more of it. It's not just an opportunity to meet a life partner. It's an opportunity to build yourself. Then you become very hot in this marketplace. You'll get swiped off of this marketplace in no time. Okay. Shout out to Gracious Greatness, my brother. He says, Ogala, you've muted yourself for the past 5 minutes. It wasn't up to 5 minutes. Was it up to 5 minutes? But thank you. Shout out to you for the super chats. It's always appreciated. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I was muted. Gene, make sure that the muted part of this video is not involved in the edit. Thank you. All right, so I think we're good. I think we got some from there. This is so lovely to read. Possibly I have the Cupid bug. Life partner spending. Okay, awesome. Some of these were okay. We already talked that. I think Cupid is taking his job seriously this year. I met someone 3 weeks ago online, and we have been either talking or seeing each other every day since the first day. Nice. That's kind of you to say. It's definitely just yeah. All right. I think we did today's justice. What y'all think? Y'all like it? Y'all like it? Everybody can hear me now, right? I'm back, right? I'm back, right? Am I back? I think I am. Let's see. Thank you, Just Jay. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see. All right. Let me see. There's why don't I just finish it, right? We got a few more minutes to finish this, right? I'll be right back. I got one more. I'll be right back. All right, there's this another article that I want to review with you. The number one thing that makes relationships successful. What would you say that is? What would you say the number one thing that makes relationships successful? All right, I'm gonna pull up something from my. Hold on 1 second. I'm here with you. I just gotta pull something from my phone. All right. Let's see. The number one thing that makes, in your opinion, what's the number one thing that makes relationships successful? Any idea? Anybody have any idea there? I'll be right back. I'm with you. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I want to play a video. I want to pull up a video to play for you that I thought was interesting with regards to this topic. Yep. The number one things that makes relationships successful. What about marriage? Is it different for marriage to relationships? There you go. Found it. There you go. Is it different? Would you say it's different? From relationships to marriage, the number one thing that makes relationships successful. Wait, let me see. What are you guys talking about? Okay, communication. This is a tricky question, apparently. This is a tricky question. Let's see. Communication. Okay. Just J says communication. Unique says communication. Wait, Just J say purpose, meaning the willingness to be committed to the relationship. Okay, that's a good one too. Forgiveness, perhaps. Are you planning to offend somebody? Your greatness. Unique says understanding. Understanding is very high on that list. But the same problem that understanding has is the same problem that communication has in terms of everyone. Like, we say it so much that it's now the effect of it, or the ability to comprehend what this looks like in real life, is watered down. Like, communication is like duh. Understand is like duh, right? So people don't even take the time to think it through, right? But I agree, communication, understanding, right? Understanding more so, because what's the point of communicating if you're not being understood, right? Or if you're not landing the message, right? It says all same. Wait, somebody says no finance, no romance. Hey, unique. I'm with you. I like soft life too. High value men will save money. That's why they are single with $250,000 salary. May God help them. But let's see. There's a video I'm going to play. Then there's an article. There's a video from what's his name? Some of you may know him. I forgot his name now. I did a review on him not too long ago. Let's see if I can find his name in this real quick.
Warren Buffett was in front of a crowd of college kids, and he said, so if you could only have one character trait that you would look for.
Alex Omozi is his name. Alex Omozi. So he's talking in an interview podcast with his wife, and he's giving a very good tip, I might say. Let's see.
Warren Buffett was in front of a crowd of college kids, and he said, so if you could only have one character trait that you would look for in a spouse.
Warren Buffett in front of some college kids, if you could have one character trait you look for in a spouse, drum roll, what would it be?
What would you look for? People are like brains and beauty.
Brains, beauty, Jesus. Brains, beauty, wow. Anyway, let's keep going.
Character, loyalty, right? And he's like, you don't want to.
Then all those things are cute, right? Loyalty, character, brains, beauty, all those things, it's cute, right? Anyway, he said, don't want any of that stuff. What does he want?
Any of that stuff. You know what you want? Low expectations. That's how you create a marriage that lasts. He was being incredibly.
Did you guys hear that? Anybody heard that? Anybody heard that? That was so quick. The way he chops off his videos.
You create a marriage that lasts. He was being incredibly serious, but also tongue-in-cheek at the same time. But I think that stuff. You know what you want? Low expectations. That's how you create.
Low expectations. To the modern person. The modern person is like, what? Low expectations? What? Let's see his explanation.
a marriage that lasts. He was being incredibly serious, but also tongue-in-cheek at the same time. But I think part of that process, at least how we approached it, was that we were probably the least Hollywood version of a relationship. It was very much like, does this make sense? And I think because of that approach, big picture, neither...
It's not particularly about the cute talking points. It's more so about how you approach things, right? Your approach, because there's always another human being involved. I know you're one, they're supposed to be an adult, they're supposed to understand. You yourself, God, don't be adults. In this situation, it's a lot more complex than, and the best, what do you do with complex issues? You have to simplify it. Okay? Let's keep going.
Us came in expecting the other person to save us. I don't need you to make me happy. I prefer it, but like I can continue to live my life and the other person can too, then the expectations are significantly lower. The fact that Layla never tried to change me and still hasn't.
So low expectations, now as it's continuing to talk more about this, is saying the expectations are significantly lower. There's a difference between lower and low. Let's keep going.
Throughout our whole relationship, I think is one of the biggest reasons why like you've been good, because like I resist anyone who tries to change me very hard. And so low expectations and leading from values has been how...
All right, this is the biggest part about it. Leading from values. It's giving us two. We're talking about number one. I didn't talk about number one yet. Okay, but this is what Alex Omosi says. Low expectation, but leading with value, right?
We've just used as our compass. And so low expectations and leading from values has been how we've just used as our compass. And then like we accept the waxes and wanes that occur during the natural.
You accept, what is it? The wags and the wings? I don't know what these things are. Just Jay, can you help me? What is wags and wings? I'm guessing it's ups and downs of lives, right? What did accounting says? True, in this way you won't become delusional as events unfold. You know, most people go in marriage is just supposed to be perfect. It's perfect. Two human beings coming together, you know, wedding day, everything is perfect. Everybody's in the spirit, right? But I was raised correctly. It's your problem. You are the one at fault, right?
Shifts of time. Buffett was in front of...
All right. What do y'all think about that? Low expectations lead with value. Lead with value. Lead with value means you're paying attention to how the other person receives value. It's another way of saying love languages, okay? You're paying attention to how the other person comprehends love, right? Comprehends and accepts and receives love, right? That's leading with value. It allows you to get the most. It allows you to get the biggest bang for your buck, right? So it's not just, oh, you're just simping and boundary, right? No, it's so you can get the greatest reward out of that relationship. And if you don't do this, you shoot yourself on the legs. Actually, no, you'll be right. You get away with being aggressive. Remember what Hank was just doing, right? Let's put her in her place right now, right? Yeah. But that reward is short lifespan. You'll feel good about yourself, I guess. But in the long run, if we're talking about your actual romantic partner, you go collect. Live your life. Don't expect to change each other. Yeah. Wags and wings. Know what that white man talk about. Don't know what the white man talk about, right? All right. Seasonal changes. Yeah, it happens. It's reality. It's going to happen in every marriage. And it will happen in the form of crisis. But let's go to this this article right here. This article says here's the number one thing that makes relationships successful. We're gonna round up with this one. I actually covered everything. Isn't that crazy? And we have 28 of you watching. You guys are the best. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Let me go through this article. What does this article is on Make It? No, it's part of the Make It series on CNBC.com. You can go check it out yourself. Okay, shout out to CNBC. Number one thing that makes relationships successful, say psychologists who studied 40,000 couples. Is that enough samples? That's enough, right? We could work with that, right? 40,000 is a lot, right? For the past 50 years, we've been putting love under the microscope. 50 years. So not just modern people. As psychologists, we've studied more than 40,000 couples about to begin couples therapy. We've also been happily married. That's very important, right? Been happily married to each other for 35 years, okay? So we know a thing or two about successful relationships. In a lab study, for example, we were able to predict with 94% accuracy whether a marriage would last. After observing the couples for just 15 minutes, they were able to predict it will last. After observing for just 15 minutes. They're studying in a lab. This is not a lab. They're in a lab, okay? One of the biggest determining factors was how often a couple turned toward their partner instead of turning away. This is a relationship hack, according to them. Okay? When a couple turns towards each other, they make and respond to what we call bids for connection. Bids can range from little things like trying to catch your attention by calling out your name to big things like asking for deeper needs to be met. The happiest couples are savvy enough to notice when their partner is making a bid and drop what they're doing, and if necessary, to engage. Here's an example. Your partner scrolling their phones remarks, "Oh, this is an interesting article." This is a bid for connection. You can respond in one of three ways. One, by turning toward, acknowledge them and engaging with their attempt to connect. Oh yeah? What is it about? Things that are so simple, things you wouldn't think about normally, right? Just being able to say, "Oh, what is it about?" Right? Number two, by turning away, actively ignoring or just not, even worse, just not noticing. A lot of people are just not noticing, okay? Complacency, right? Cripsing, see finish, right? Their attempt, completely just not noticing the attempt to connect. You keep typing the email you're working on while staring at your screen. Or number three, by turning against, irritably, or angrily shutting down their attempt to connect. Can't you see I'm trying to work? See, you are funny. Just turning towards each other is what they say. Again, let your mind go wild. What does this mean? Turning to each other. For you, right? So there are some how to practice turning toward each other in relationships. I'm not going to read that. Do a 10 minutes check-in. Okay? Is there anything you need from me today? Listen, if it's not natural to you, start practicing it. It will become second nature. It's a matter of time. So it's going to take some commitment on your end. It's going to take you forgetting for another 3 months. And then you have to revisit it again because it's just not who you are, right? But I'm telling you, these things do work. Okay, they're very, very, it's not the pragmatic, have this 20 list of what you expect from your partner. It's the little things that we don't pay attention to. Number two, pick up the pennies. The little things that build up to the Cupid at the top. Somebody was talking about Cupid earlier, right? Eye contact, a smile, a sigh goes a long way. A direct ask for your help or attention, saying good morning, good night. Hey babe, asking for a favor. Reading something aloud to you. Hey, listen to this. Pointing something out. Look at that. Look at that nyash. Say that to my wife all the time. Right? Seeming sad or down. Physically carrying something heavy by themselves. Seeming frustrated. Don't give up just yet. That was the message in the 10 bad reasons. It's not about there's a bad reason. It's about everything else that we don't talk about, right? Just let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation, right? The truth is that we still all want each other. We all still like love. We love love. All of us, okay? No, I don't love. Exactly. See that emotions? Yeah, exactly. Tell your face that you don't love love. Right? We all do. We all crave connection. It's a basic human need. It is what it is. I love that that's what it is. 6 needs: certainty, variety, significance. Number 4, connection. Right? We can't run away from ourselves. We can't run from our own shadows. It doesn't work. Gomez says if only one is doing the work, the other doesn't care, it makes it imbalance as time goes on. Then it creates a vacuum. If you're doing the work necessary, if we're doing that with the way I define it, it's impossible that the other doesn't care. It's literally impossible. So that literally squashed that old factor away. There's no such thing as I'm doing the work and the other person doesn't care. It doesn't exist. If we need to elaborate more on that later, we can. Okay? And he said, hence the need to look outside the marriage. And yeah, I understand. Yeah. Please do a relationship hack video for women. Some of us have been out of the game for a while. Biko, teach us what to do, not to do, what makes a man. Hey, if you keep throwing the specific questions in the chat, in the WhatsApp group, I will cover them. I still say both parties have to be growing together. Both, with my definition of working on yourself, both parties have no choice but to grow together. Expectations on another human being will continue to fall on its face every single time. Humans, no be your mates. What do we talk about here? So low expectations basically means be flexible, not necessarily lower your expectations. Just keep an open mind. Okay? Keep an open mind. Understand you're dealing with a human being, not God. Right? Relax. That's all it means. Yeah. Then obviously for us to be, it has to be a little bit more specific for us to be able to comprehend it all the way, you know. But when it comes to romantic relationships, rules don't work well. They don't work well. Rules, duty, responsibility in 2023, they just don't work well. People have an illusion of options. They would destroy the family before they regret it. Okay? You have to love in a way that the other person feels free. Everything else you're looking for will come towards that. Okay? All right? Everything else you're looking for. We have gotten to a place that everything is too complex. We need to simplify things. Everything, everyone, including men, Jesus Christ, have 35 things on their list that must be a certain way before they can go on a coffee date. They don't really exactly write it out, but you can hear it in the social media streets. They're like, wait, that has to be on the list too. Right? You're confusing each other. But the one thing that we know is that number 4, you still need connection. And you will connect. You might just end up in child support court. So you might as well just learn how to do this the right way. Okay? So if you understand what we cover here, number 3, seduction. There's no such thing as you're now receiving. When I say work on yourself and focus on yourself, there is no such thing as you're now receiving what you value the most when you understand this holistically. There's no such thing. But when you spread all that focus, all that energy from yourself to the other person, you will miss out. Okay? But again, context matters. So don't take me out of context. On your way out, do me a favor. Hit that like button. I appreciate you. I'm 64 minutes overtime. But let's keep doing it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot as we go along. Leave comments. Let me know. Let me get some feedbacks. You disagree? You agree? You have some other questions? Please bring some smoke. Today was really, really smoky. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.